Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Happy Libations Friday. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. Loosey-goosey and a celebratory welcome back, Florida State baseball. Hello, college baseball, soon to be also pro baseball. Welcome all things baseball. Edition of the Jeff Cameron Show. Should note that in the 5 o'clock hour, we have our traditional long form with Mike Martin Jr., who's now the head coach at Florida State University. Of course, you're aware of that. 30 minutes of conversation with Mike Martin Jr. That I did this morning, and you're going to find it, I think, insightful, interesting, entertaining, and I think that that you'll like it. You'll be pleased. And I know I was. I really appreciate him giving us the time and really allowing for us to just kind of have a conversation. It's what it is. It's more what I like to do these days. It's why we kind of do almost a sort of podcast is the way we structure our shows. But this is that, right? You sit there and you just talk through it all. There's a lot to take in when you consider what he's taking over. It's one of the preeminent baseball programs in the country, as built by his father. And so, you know, there's an awful lot of responsibility. There's a lot of enthusiasm. There's nerves. There's excitement. There are changes afoot. And we go over all of it. And, you know, it was a lot of fun to do. We might play a couple clips this hour, but we'll play the whole thing in the 5 o'clock hour. You'll get almost that whole hour. Is me and Mike Martin Jr. And I think you'll be interested to note that he's not his dad. I mean, I'm sure he's very, very proud of his father, as he should be, the all-time winningest college baseball coach in the history of the sport. Yeah, how could you not be? And he's given him a life in this great game of baseball. But he is his own man, Mike Martin Jr. is, and he did want to make changes and has wanted to make changes for years that he thought would further modernize Florida State's approach to playing the game. And you'll hear that revealed in his talk of analytics and the way that they're going to run the bases, the way that they're going to approach hitting, the way that they attack hitters from the mound. And I think he likes this club. So we get to do it again, man. Another year of baseball, which is a lot of fun. And I do want to thank you. Heard the liner there at the beginning. Our dear friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been a great sponsor of the Jeff Cameron Show for a very, very long time. And we're fortunate to work with so many people that are loyal to us, and we like to give back to those that help support our business. And I would encourage you always to do the same. Help support those who help support us. We really can't continue to do radio and if we don't have the help of our sponsors and you guys helping them out as well. And so on this, the day that we start anew with another season, we thank Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for sponsoring the entirety of today's show and the baseball sort of preview, if you will. So I look forward to it.
Well, you know, there are times that I'll text my friends and I'll say, hey, you should catch this interview. Jake the Snake was the first that comes to mind because that was just an unbelievable interview. The Brett Favre one was good for a different reason. Actually, both were kind of negative. Like in the stories you hear along the way and kind of sad about. You know,
but fascinating, interesting.
But, and they're real.
Yeah.
They're just real interviews. The Adazio one was fun from last year's ACC meetings. It's a
good thing we got it in.
Big time bummer. Yeah, we're gonna have to reach out to what conference are they in?
Colorado State,
Mountain West.
Yeah,
reach out to the Mountain West for their media days and see if we can get them on.
It will be the best if we do it, and he agrees. And we say, "We're the guys that got you the pastry." And because you're no longer going to be with us there in Charlotte, we could not let this opportunity go without a good conversation.
Go tell us the good news about the Rams, Coach. Tell us about what you're doing out there in the Mountain West.
I've always had a
Conference.
soft spot in my heart for Colorado State. That's the truth. I used to be them on the NCAA tournament game all the time. I mean, the football game. I like their colors. I like where they play. I liked them.
I would list this interview as one that you want to listen to as well because, I mean, obviously you do a great job of conducting the interview, sir.
Thank you.
But the refreshing transparency of Mike Martin Jr., it's always been there. It was there when he was the hitting coach. As long as you've been doing interviews, he's transparent, but he hasn't changed one bit as the head man. And now he's empowered to say things that are even more important because he affects the policy and the philosophy of the team. So if you want to get to know what Florida State baseball is all about, 5 o'clock hour you need to listen to it because it's really good. He's not speaking in circles around your questions. He's telling you the truth.
CJ Van Eck is going to get the start for Florida State, of course, tonight. And 6 o'clock first pitch over at Dick Howser Stadium. We'll be over there with you celebrating all things baseball. I'm bringing both my boys to the game today. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to go pick them up from school. In the interest of transparency, since I already did the interview with Mike Martin Jr., that last hour is done, and I'll go get them then, and we'll make our way. Over to the stadium and take in Florida State baseball. Saturday, you'll get Shane Drohan. I know they're really excited to see how he pitches this year. That's a kid who had over 51 innings last year, pitched to a 3.66, 70-plus strikeouts last year. So he's real talent. I think they believe he's upgraded his ability. And then you got Connor Grady, experienced as he is, a junior right-hander. And then I think, again, one of the things that if you haven't, and we're giving a lot of credit to a lot of people here, but we should because, I think if you got a chance to look at the story that Tim Lenefelt wrote on Seminoles.com, then you probably maybe had to fight back tears a little bit. It's crazy. Dylan Simmons is a kid who's going to get an opportunity to pitch here as kind of the 4 or the 5, however you want to look at it. He's also going to get a chance to swing the bat. Big, strong kid, 6'3", 6'4", 230, and real talent. But he had to battle lymphoma, had to battle cancer and deal with going through an awful lot, obviously chemo, and it delayed his time, his entrance, I should say, to Florida State. And he had to make the call to tell Mike Martin Jr. Last year about the cancer that was found after he felt a lump in his groin, which I think everybody, you recoil at the thought, and it's everybody's fear, just like women with breasts and men. I mean, we all, those exams that we're all taught to do at an early age, you get startled thinking about it, right? Finding that, to be that young and to be that strong and all those things. And then the next thing you know, you find a lump, and then it turns out to be bad, and it's, you talk about being derailed, and the story is emotional because the parents talk about what their thoughts were and all that. Great job, Tim Lenefelt. Read the story. You can read it. But Mike will talk about him today, too, and that story and his recovery and efforts to continue to work out. It's going to be an interesting year. A lot of new faces, too.
I can't imagine the emotions you go through for something like that. And
I can't either.
I'm not trying to spin it home to me, but I can tell you that obviously you do the self-exam kind of stuff for like you're talking about if you're a guy or girl. And I've had to go to get an ultrasound on something I thought was a problem. My cousin is a testicular cancer survivor.
I knew that, yeah.
It got into his lymph nodes. Oof. And, he's just a hero of mine.
Sure.
But what that does is obviously it makes you more nervous for yourself because you think genetics. And so I went through the process of going to the room, having the tech take a look at stuff, and then they've got to crunch over it and tell you whether or not something's up or not. And it came back okay.
The stress of that is unbelievable.
The stress of that, but I can't imagine what happens. What's the next step if they say we need to do something about it? I just can't imagine that. And
read that story.
Yeah, I look forward to doing that. And the first time this young man takes the mound here for FSU,
won't that be something?
Get out of your seat.
Yeah,
get out of your damn seat.
Yeah, you'll. I think beyond just what an amazing story it is, and what he's been able to accomplish, just getting here and being part of this team and being ready to go. I mean, the young man throws 94-95. This is not a sympathy case. He can play. But he's overcome all of that. When he takes the mound, it's going to be amazing. I think the only one that won't be affected all that much is him. Because the more you read the story, the more you realize he's perfectly suited. As nobody wants to go through what he went through. Nobody wants to go through any kind of health scare like that or battle. But there are those that have, for whatever reason, a certain mindset that would seem to be best suited for that kind of battle. And he's it, man. I read that story, I'm like, whoa. I mean, his only concern was, we got to do this, but I got to be able to sustain my strength. I got to be able to work out. I got to be able to continue to get ready so that when I'm done with this, I can go pitch. It's crazy. That is so cool. The kind of makeup that you have to be that way, and then it tells me an awful lot about what potentially, if we're going to be crass for a moment, as I once brought up to Mike Greenberg, as a player, let's find out what he is. It seems to me he's going to be one tough SOB.
Oh yeah. It is to be admired. absolutely.
That's cool. It's cool. So that's later today. Florida State, basically, refresher course here. You got Matt Nelson at catcher. You got Carter Smith over there at first base. Jackson Green at second, who's supposed to be kind of a throwback kind of player, rugged kid, tough kid. Nander Desadas comes back, and he's at shortstop now. And so, by the way, with him, that's a blue-chip prospect. That's a kid that we were all so excited about. And I've been told in the workouts leading up to the start of this season that he's really, really come on. So I'm excited to see that because, basically, look, you knew he could pick it, but I'm really interested to see the bat improve. He didn't really hit at all last year. Hit .231 in college baseball. That ain't getting it done.
Well, what I'm interested in, too, it sounds like Tough Love Cameron is waiting, man.
Tough Love's here, man.
When basketball season's over, it's your time to say this. What I'm interested to see with this coaching staff, and this is not something they can solve on opening day, but, development of players. I'm not saying it was lacking before because guys seem to get better here, on the regular. But when you have
you got
the
prime
resources,
candidates, by the way.
Well, and you have the resources that we're putting into this now, as in a full coaching staff that is committed to development and analytics.
Sure.
I look forward to seeing how these kids, get bigger, stronger, and smarter, and better baseball players over their time at Florida State. We'll see what this coaching staff does in that regard.
Yeah, and Coach Martin Jr. is going to talk to you guys and talk to me today about that coaching staff and how he went about the process of bringing in who he did and what their roles are and how seamless that has been and what he's most excited about and what they bring to the table. So there is insight being provided there, too, in the interview. But back to my point, Tom, you've got real candidates now to see that development you're talking about. So I just brought up Nander, and Tough Love's here for him. But listen.
Is he ever?
But listen here. Elijah Cabell, my goodness gracious, that you would not see a worse season for a young man than what we saw from him last year. He fell into the chasm. It was disastrous. We went from being told about the bat speed being the best in the country or one of the best in the country, and that he was a young man that hit prodigious home runs in the build up to the season, to couldn't hit water falling out of a boat. I mean, my man was lost to the point where obviously he was done dealing. They just shut him down. He just, you're out here hitting a $105. We're done here. So how far do they get him? How far does he progress? And how far can he put that season a year ago into his rear view? Because, my goodness.
Well, if he does, then the lineup becomes deep.
Oh, it changes everything because you lost power from last year's team. You really did lose a big chunk. No, Mendoza. You lost a big chunk of what you were doing a year ago offensively. In fact, I think they lost, in terms of what they lost, over half their home runs. So you're going to need somebody to step up in the power category, and this guy's got a ton of it. There's no doubting his potential. But it was. I'm really curious because they've invested in the resources, and that includes sports psychology. That includes sitting down with people and getting them the help that they need when they're going through slumps or difficulties. But and by the way, that is the norm now throughout sports in college. It's true of the golf team. It's true of football. It's true of basketball. They have those kinds of resources now. It's nice to know that we've come an awful long way in that regard. It seems to me that these young men will benefit greatly. He's got the chance to really take a huge leap forward. I hope so. I never want to see anybody go through what he did, where you could just see it spiral. Baseball's a sport more than most. We see it in the pros all the time, where a guy gets going the wrong way, and you're watching it, and it takes a real tough sucker, and typically somebody who's been through it, come out of it, and then they endure it again because the game is a game of failure. But they've experienced having to go through the arduous process of battling and kicking and screaming your way out of there, and they're able to do it. But hey, listen, if you're a freshman like he was, and then you go through that, and you've been the best player on the field everywhere you've been, and now all of a sudden that's happening, that can be really difficult. So it's going to go one of two ways, right? I mean, if you battle back from that and then find a way to actually reach your potential, then you're tough forevermore, because it can't get any worse than it was a year ago. By the way, Reese Albert in center field, right field, Robbie Martin. So you do get, Reese had the shoulder issue and all of that. And so
high fastballs by the end of the year, you knew, geez, he's got no chance. Hopefully somebody misses his spot.
Remember, we knew about the arm that we were looking at it, and we were like, okay, I don't tell anybody. And then Eduardo Perez said it in the broadcast, like, shh. Eduardo Perez brought it up in the broadcast that he couldn't raise his shoulder, that anything above his waist he couldn't hit. I'm like, Eduardo.
Right. Seminole legend, helping out the old squad.
Like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. And then I think the other cool story is Tyler Martin. He is the son of Mike Martin Jr. I remember Tyler when he was little, and how this is, listen, it's on merit. And baseball is a meritocracy. You'll hear him tell the story of how that came about, and I got to believe that's just got to be so rewarding and exciting, and I'd be nervous as hell. But
so what's his name? Beef? Tofu?
Florida State takes on Syracuse. We'll have an entire hour, next hour, where we kind of combine the two things here with Florida State baseball, and then obviously on the hardwood tomorrow at noon at the TLC-CC. Florida State is playing the Orangemen, and we want to do a Tallahassee Game Day court report, so we kind of sandwiched it there between the baseball talk, and obviously that final hour is all baseball. But we will touch on Florida State basketball here in just a moment. We'll do it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shera Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com.
So we're going to approach everything with a championship mindset, a championship approach.
See Mike Norvell lead the new Seminoles for the first time at the FSU Spring Game.
Touchdown FSU!
Then Doak After Dark returns. Multi-platinum artist John Party will rock the stage with his country hits. Also featuring Runaway June. Saturday, April 18th. Tickets starting at $10 for the game and concert. Visit Seminoles.com to get your tickets today.
Jeff Cameron here, and mark it down. Wednesdays on my show, we're giving away which Wicked sandwiches. That's right. Tune in to the Jeff Cameron Show every Wednesday for your chance at a free Wicked 5 meats and 3 cheeses of deliciousness. Which is Wicked Wednesdays every week on the JCS.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Well, would you look at this goodness? Our friends at For the Table Hospitality are doing the right thing per usual. It's time for the 4th annual Tallahassee Wine Mixer and Mozfest. Tallahassee's best wine festival is back for another year right there in the shadow of beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. The date is Saturday, March the 7th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Centrale Pizza, Parm, and Bar. VIP tickets are just $60 and feature unlimited wine sampling, unlimited charcuterie, ooh, fancy, unlimited mozzarella cheese, oh, forget about it, this is good stuff, unlimited games and a commemorative glass to boot. 2020 is going to be the best Tallahassee wine mixer yet. We certainly like to thank our friends at Visit Tallahassee for all of their help. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search Tallahassee Wine Mixer.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The madness is coming to the corner pocket.
They're in trouble. Desperation. Yes!
Choose the place with Tallahassee's best TVs. The Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall. 8 50-inch crystal clear flat screens. You won't miss a second of the action. Corner Pocket's your headquarters for the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! Good! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets. Come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
The Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, who's celebrating their 95th year in business this year, would like to recognize their newest members.
Hi, I'm Corey Melton, the Vice President of Membership, and I'm proud on behalf of the Chamber to welcome our newest members from December and January. American Cancer Society, Bath Fitter, Bob Fish Homes, Body Mechanics, Physiotherapy and Fitness, David Cannon, Realtor with Eden & Company, Express Employment Professionals, iDope, Florida Floors, Growler Country, Homes and Land of Tallahassee, Jet Medical Center, Tallahassee, Not Responsible, Lull Water at Blairstone, Move, Office Depot, Osaka Japanese Steakhouse, Huff for Less, Stacy Lee Portraits, Strayer University, Telegen, Terminex of Tallahassee, The Refinery Bar Fitness Studios, Trail and Ski, and the Waffle House.
Looking for a fun activity that supports a good cause? Look no further than the Tallahassee Glow Run. The first annual Tallahassee Glow Run takes place Saturday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. at FSU's main campus fields. Sign up for a glowing good time with all proceeds benefiting Catholic Charities of Northwest Florida, a group that supports all people in need from all faith denominations. Run, walk, or dance the 5K or 1K course with family, friends, and co-workers. To sign up, visit active.com and search for Glow Run. This event is proudly presented by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Florida State taking on Syracuse tomorrow at noon. TLC Double C to be televised if you can't make it on ESPN2. That's channel 404. So it's not an ACC network game, just to let you know. The Cuse comes in at 14-10, 7-6 in the ACC. They are bubblicious. They need a big win. Got to find a way to beat Florida State, but no, that ain't happening because the Noles are going for win number 21 on the season, win number 11 in the ACC. They are undefeated at the TLC Double C. By the way, Syracuse leads the all-time series 7-4. They are just 4-3, though, against us since joining the ACC. And if you look at the direction of the two programs, I'd say Florida State is a stronger program currently. Yeah, that's a fun thing to say. We are 2-1 at the TLC Double C against the Cuse. We've struggled up there at the Carrier Dome. We do have a win up there, but just the one.
Remember the weird one where everybody was like half asleep?
Oh, that's right. Started? We saw Bacon yawning as he was. They were starting. Remember that? It was like an 11 a.m. tip up there at Syracuse. And what was the reason? It was weird.
I don't know. But Doris Burke kept talking about it. Are these guys here to play?
Yeah, it was funny.
Why do they look so tired?
We won that game. That's the one we won.
I don't think we won that game.
I thought we did.
I don't think
so. I thought we won the game. No, maybe we didn't. Maybe that's I can't recall anymore. It doesn't really matter. Let's go back to this one. Let's go back to the fact that we met last season at the Carrier Dome, and we were 0-3 since Syracuse joined the ACC. By the way, when would you have guessed that Syracuse joined the ACC, sir?
2012?
2013, 2014, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember playing them in the championship year here in football. And the only reason we would do that is because they were in the conference. That was the Kermit Whitfield game against them.
Well, it's also the game in which that poor kid
gets bleeding out of his mouth. Yeah.
Brutalized in the back of the end zone. And had to be. That was one of Jimbo's better moments. He went and visited the kid at the hospital. But
he did stuff like that. FaceTime other people. Remember the story of the kid in Jacksonville?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, but after all of that, let's note this, by the way. When you think back to that time and what that program was, and then you think to where we are now, it's something to think about with Florida State. Just really right now, I think on the cusp of being just a better program and being thought of that way, which is hard to imagine. We started out hot from three-point land in that game. We were 7 of 9 from beyond the arc. MJ Walker, my man, was 3 of 3, and we need you, MJ. We got out to a 30-12 lead in the first half, and anyhow, long story short, you look at Florida State, and I feel like they can do something similar today, getting off to a quick start against Syracuse, who, to me, is a team that is, better on the road than at home. So far, the record indicates that, but kind of reeling a little bit, both from a minutes standpoint and then their big star is hurt.
Right, exactly. Elijah Hughes is he's dealing with a groin injury. He tweeted out it's not a big deal, but according to Syracuse spokesperson who talked to the beat up there, game time decision. So even if it's a yes, it could be a situation like Chris Likes just a week ago from Miami coming off the bench, and we'll see how many minutes he could play and at what speed, if at all. But it's a group also that if you look at them top to bottom and you're only playing 6 or 7 guys, you can push them around a little bit. If you can get past the way the zone is structured, if you just get into one-on-one situations, you might be able to win some physical battles. And I'm talking about on the glass, second chance points, fighting for position in the key spots. We know the 2-3 zone. With Syracuse being the conference for so long, the talking points are all the same about how to beat it, right? You either get up near the free throw line or you get into the short corner, which is between the sideline, out of bounds area and the hoop. Somewhere in there, you get down there, and then you create offense and passing lanes for yourself that way. Or you could just make 3-point shots.
You could just shoot over it.
Which this group, I think tomorrow's going to be one of those days.
I do too.
We were cold on Monday night. We usually make our shots at home. We're going to make some shots tomorrow, force them out a little bit out from the 2-3, farther away from the basket than they want to be, and that's going to open up some things inside. I think offensively we'll be okay.
Let's hope so. We have not started these noon games well, these sleepy nooners as they're called, or as we reference them. We haven't started those games very well, and so I do worry about that. And then you talk about the way they play defense. It can be problematic. I do think we're more athletic, we're deeper, we're physically superior to this team, especially if Elijah Hughes doesn't play. Bottom line is he's their best player, Tom. And if you don't have him, if you don't have him, you're in real trouble if you're Syracuse. But if you only have him at 50% or 70%, I still think you're in real trouble. I mean, they rely on 3 guys, in essence, to get this thing done. If you look at it, by the way, they also rely on the 3-point shot. 43, almost 44% of their field goal attempts are from beyond the arc, by the way. That's just, they're shooting threes. That's what they do. And 89% of those 3-point shots are attempted by just 3 players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Elijah Hughes, Buddy Boeheim, you referenced him before.
Gerard.
Yeah, and Gerard. That's those 3 guys.
It's another tiny guy, too, 6'1" is Gerard. Buddy Boeheim's a little bit longer, but he's more of a string bean. He hasn't filled out just yet. Hughes is he's the type of player that's a hoss.
Well, he's a slasher. Yeah, he's a slasher, too. He can get to the basket. So, that's if they don't have that, I think it's going to be a long day at the office.
Didn't realize that. They shoot 3-pointers at that rate in terms of total field goals attempted.
44% of their shots come from beyond the arc.
They hit 34% of their threes. I do know that much. That's about 120th in the country, depending upon when you're looking, when they redo the stats. But then they also give up the most threes of any team in terms of field goal attempts against, and that's because they play the 2-3, and they're saying, just shoot it, hit it, beat us, we dare you. Well, this group can. Florida State certainly can, and we can get out and pressure them beyond the arc in a way most teams can't. We saw it. It was an absolute clinic. I get that there was a lot of dead-legged shots between the Blue Devils and the Noles on Monday, but you saw the pressure both teams put on the ball outside of the 3-point line. Syracuse better be ready for that because we're going to do that all afternoon long.
I'm going to be very interested early in the game to see if Syracuse tries to go a little deeper to this bench with an injury to Hughes and then the fact that they've relied so much on so few people. 4 of their 5 starters average over 32 minutes a game. He just does not trust this bench at all. And you can't beat us that way. Not if your best player's hurt.
Well, the one way you can is if we don't care to play the game, which is not our MO. But you know what I mean? It's a sleepy nooner, and it drags into the second half. You're going, guys, it's 12 points. There's 16 minutes to go. Let's get it together, because they can generate turnovers if you're not playing disciplined basketball in the offensive half court. That's what the 2-3 does. They generate a ton of turnovers.
Updated standings in the ACC. Louisville's 12-2. Duke is 11-2. So the same in the loss column there. One last win for Duke means they're a half game back. And there sits Florida State, a game and a half back of Louisville. Of course, they get a game against them. 10-3 are the Noles. We are 6-0 at home in the ACC. 20-4 overall. You know that already. If you're looking at RPI, we're 7th, 14th in the net. Getting better in that K-Palm, baby. We're down to 18 there, okay?
Wow, so, lost to Duke. Go figure.
Yeah, getting a little bit better there. And then really, it looks like Virginia's going to play their way into the NCAA tournament. They're now 8-5 in the conference, and, they're 16-7 overall. They get a shot.
Well, it's interesting to me, and I was talking about this a little bit yesterday, but it's like if you win 10, 11 games in the conference, in the ACC, it's hard for the tournament selection committee to say no. I mean, somebody has to do that more than just Virginia, right?
NC State is a candidate. We play them on the road. They'll be desperate when we play them. But this Syracuse team is a candidate, too, because they're 7-6 in the ACC. They've got a winning record on the road in the conference. But they need this win. They need this win. They're desperate. They picked the wrong time, or an unfortunate time if you're looking at it from their angle, to have their best player get hurt. This is a game where they got to sell out to get the win. They got to go nuts and lay it all on the line. Because the problem they have, Tom, is they're 94th in the RPI. They don't have any wins that are worth a damn. Well, their overall schedule strength and their net ranking is 69. They're out there, man. They got to get a big win like this.
What the 2-3 does to me, just in general, of how it pressures you in your mind, it reminds me of like a defense that plays soft shell coverage, football, and you have to make correct decisions. You got to execute, and you got to make 8 correct decisions or 10 to get down the field into scoring range and to finish the drive off. That's what the 2-3 can do, and if you're not prepared mentally to play the game, then you could turn the ball over a bunch, and they're good at turning those things into points. Tomorrow could be an ugly turnover fest between the two teams because we obviously turn teams over amongst the elite in the country, but they're not too far behind us in that metric. So the game could be ugly, or if we are executing on our principles and we're shooting the basketball from beyond the three-point arc, then it could be a real snoozer for us in the second half.
By the way, this weekend, because we're really getting down to it now, we want to be in a position to have an opportunity to still win the ACC's regular season title, and we're not out of it. Now that Louisville walked through the game at Georgia Tech and dropped one unexpectedly, which thank goodness they did, and rather than lament that we didn't beat Duke and where would we be right now and all that good stuff, the point is this: they slipped up. Louisville slipped up, and they let us and Duke back in it. All right.
You done messed up.
Yeah. Well, Louisville's on the road, and they're going to the Little John to take on Clemson Saturday at 4 o'clock. So you get done with our game, and you've got an opportunity to watch that game too. It's a very important game for Louisville, and that is a resurgent Clemson team. Look out. Could be a very good game. Duke hosting a desperate Notre Dame team. Desperate Notre Dame team needs one of these wins. They can play. I think Notre Dame will go on the road and play well in that game.
And Duke hasn't played well 3 games in a row.
No. So there's that. Virginia is taking on North Carolina, whatever. NC State does travel to BC. Shouldn't be a problem for them. That's on the ACC network, and Wake Forest and Miami play. So bottom line is there are a couple there that we're going to want to pay attention to. Louisville on the road against Clemson. Duke on the road, hosting Notre Dame. Interesting games. Just got to take care of our own business. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Loving free, season ticket on a one-way ride.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you'd pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Witch Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Witch Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shera Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com. Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hey Knowles fans, did you know that 2/3 of 4th grade students cannot read at grade level? FSU men's basketball is teaming up with Coaching for Literacy to promote childhood reading. 100% of your charitable donation to Coaching for Literacy directly benefits children through the Early Learning Coalition of the Big Bend. A donation of $10 provides 2 books for aspiring readers. For more information, visit coachingforliteracy.org or text Seminoles 4LIT to 71777. That's Seminoles, the number 4, LIT, to 71777. Together, we can end the literacy crisis.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
I want to talk about that halftime.
At one point during the halftime show, my wife Abby turned to me and said, "This is a family show."
Well, this is funny because there are a number of things about this that are funny. A number of things. And I think it was widely celebrated. A lot of people like Michael Wilbon saying the following. Best Super Bowl. What are you laughing about, Mike?
I love how this tweet ends.
Best Super Bowl halftime show ever by far, and I'm a Prince fanatic, but this is unequaled. Lordy. Now, what was happening was just straight lechery, all right? Nobody even noticed that the music was so bad because how could you? They were writhing around up there like snakes. Like, it took J-Lo 10 hours to get ready. I'm not even making that up. 10 hours to get ready for that.
There was music?
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Charlie Pellett. Brought to you by Grainger, America's trusted source for industrial and safety supplies. Visit Grainger.com. Under Armour is warning of soft 2020 results, and coronavirus is getting part of the blame. The sports apparel company is warning that the coronavirus outbreak in China will mean $50 to $60 million in lost sales in the final quarter of 2020. Both Nike and Adidas have said that the virus will hurt business in China. Nike had to close about half of its company-owned stores, and stores that remained open were operating with reduced hours. And Callaway Golf is another another business citing the coronavirus for missed results. Its first quarter and full year 2020 forecast trailed Wall Street estimates. And CBS will make William Hill its exclusive online sports betting and data provider. William Hill is based in London. It goes back to 1934. That's the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report. I'm Charlie Pellett.
My portfolio's diversified, my 401k's maxed, but my savings account just sat there till I switched it to Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I'm earning way more now, and just between you and me, my savings are right on track. Feels like I got upgraded for free.
You can money. With an online savings account from Marcus by Goldman Sachs, you could earn much more interest than with the largest banks. Sign up at Marcus.com.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of January 21st, 2020 may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Attention everyone. With Dell's President's Day sale, get monumental savings on Dell Business PCs with Intel Core processors and business tech. Deals are live now with doorbusters up to 60% off on President's Day the 17th. Our small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business at President's Day prices by calling 877-BUY-DELL. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket. The Jeff Cameron Show's opening day special is brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of ESPN Radio Tallahassee. Turn to the experts at Barano for all your heating and cooling needs. Online at baranoac.com.
Before we do the court report next hour and then the long-form interview with Mike Martin Jr. in the 5 o'clock hour and the build-up to opening day and the start of college baseball for Florida State, that since the 2019 season, there have been 41 coaching changes in the sport. So you had, obviously, the planned retirement of Mike Martin at Florida State. UNC Wilmington's Mark Scalf also called it a day. You had shakeups at traditional powers like Southern Cal, Wichita State, unexpected changes at Nebraska and Washington State, and included amongst the 41 new coaches are 4 who had interim tags. So it's an interesting coaching carousel. Obviously, we're starting anew here, which is a big storyline. That's amazing. Opening day here across the entire country for college baseball.
Just from an accounting balance sheet or P&L standpoint, I love this hire so much. You know, if we could just look at it as a booster would or as, a cut and dry David Coburn would when he's looking at how much each program is costing. I mean, this is a low-risk, high-reward hire to take on Mike Martin Jr. and his modern approach at a university he cares about. A university, in a way, he's like forced to be the head coach of, because his name precluded him from getting other opportunities in order to cut his teeth and return here someday when the job was open.
He came so close on 2 separate occasions to leaving Florida State. He had put his name in the hat. He had been a finalist at 2 different locations. Really, I've been told 3 or 4 times it was close, but one in particular he thought he had for sure. And there was another ACC school that was going to hire him, but the thought was that if they did, it would be short term. They knew Mike Martin would be retiring in the near future, and they had a well-to-do booster step in and say, I don't want to do it because my university's not going to be a stepping stone for him to go back to Florida State, which is what he's going to do the second the job opens up. And it's interesting because you can't blame that person who clearly is passionate about college baseball because they have enough influence, which means they give money, to tell the school not to hire the guy they wanted to hire, and they listened. So, but I don't blame him because if that's my school, I wouldn't want to be used either. But that's a real tough break for Mike Martin
That
Jr.
particular example is how many years ago? Like, little did that person know that it was going to be pretty much
he
a decade.
He could have been there like 8 years.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer this thing is going to work because we're going to get more blue chip style. I don't know if that's a term for college baseball recruits because the blue chippers go to the minor league system and they work their way up to the bigs. But we're going to get high level college baseball recruits. And what I appreciate most about Meat's approach is the reverence he has for the pro game and analytics and the way the pro game is played. Because to me, that means that high school coaches around the region now know we embrace baseball in a way that we're going to develop a kid to be better when he's a pro. And that speaks volumes. That combined with the fact you got two other dudes hitting the road like crazy to go see these kids and forge those relationships. I mean, this was such a low-risk, high-reward hire. I'm pumped for it to start today.
I'm pumped for it because all those changes you're talking about can be implemented right away, but Jimmy Bellinger and Mike Metcalf are the two coaches that you're referencing in particular. Now, Tyler Holt stays on board, obviously, with Mike Martin Jr. becoming the head coach, and Chip Baker is always going to be, I think, for as long as he wants to be, the director of baseball operations, et cetera. But one thing to note here, you went out and got guys that have ties to Major League Baseball, like you just said. And Mike Metcalf has real connections, great connections to Major League Baseball. And so with the Giants, I'm also excited about that. They advance modern metrics. They embrace modern metrics and advanced analytics and all of that, and you're going to see a different style of play. But in that interview next hour, you'll hear him talk about these two gentlemen towards the end of the interview. But I want to see what it looks like. It's one thing to hear it, but, I'm used to Florida State playing a certain way, and this is going to be a different way, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You're right, though. Nobody likes to admit this, but the bottom line is when Florida State got surpassed by their rival, it was because the University of Florida did now what Mike Martin Jr. is attempting to do with these two hires.
Well, and it took a lot of gumption, which he has plenty of in reserves.
To say it.
More than most. To say, Florida's doing it better than we are, and we're going to mimic some of the things they're doing.
Well, he and behind closed doors and behind the scenes, he's thought it and said it before, and it drove him nuts that, hey, listen, it's right there 2 hours away from us. We're watching what is the new norm. This is how you get kids to come and commit because you can tell them that you have major league connections and that you understand what they're looking for and how to develop those arms. Now, you got to prove it. You got to do it. And the thing that O'Sullivan gets credit for is that he said it and then did it. I mean, guys got better. I mean, guys that, for whatever reason, chose not to take the money and go into the Major League Baseball draft or take the money after they were drafted, did go to Florida and did add MPH and did get paid.
Well, it's interesting, just something that you can see on the field right away. From what we were told in the offseason, you have more of these conversations than I do, but I was privy to a few of them.
Sure.
Velocity is up. Velocity for this group is up this year. And that, to me, is that's one basic way that if you only care to watch Florida State baseball once a week of their 4 or 5 games and you just put it on the ESPN app, what am I going to see that's different? Well, beyond the fact that we don't have names on the back of the uniforms, a basic way to see the changes and the philosophies and what we're implementing, apparently we're able to throw a lot of guys out there that can hit low to mid-90s, which in college baseball speaks volumes.
It's huge, and it happened right away because Jimmy Bellinger came in, the new pitching coach, and he saw some things that he thought needed to be changed that would lead to more speed, and he basically used the term sped him up. And I, too, want to see what that looks like. I mean, at this point, I think, okay, what does that look like? I don't, I've never taught pitching. I never pitched, so I don't know. I mean, usually, we're all students of the game. We all love the game. We all played, so we know certain talking points and aspects of the mechanics and all of that. But it will be intriguing to see how they go about the process of changing deliveries and increasing miles per hour.
Well, because in college it still rings true. Like when I was a kid watching, this is the Ken Griffey Jr. era of baseball, there was no answer for 96 or 97. Like, a pitcher could be a little bit wild, but if he finds it on a 3-2 pitch and he has 97, it's in the upper half of the zone, there's nothing for that. Nowadays, it has to be like 102 to be a straight fastball because you could throw it 100. If it doesn't move, guys are going to put a bat on it, which is just insane to me.
Especially the Astros.
Well, 3 dots for a fastball.
Yeah. Lock in.
Right. Yeah. Killer bees my ass.
Yeah.
But, with college, you hit 95, 96. It's like it used to be in the bigs where, not many kids can do anything with that type of pitch. And if we have a few guys that can hit into that realm, great. If we have a bunch of guys that can hit 92 to 95, well then fan-freaking-tastic, because that does look like what Gainesville does.
Yeah, and it's drove us nuts. So it'd be nice to you can't beat them, join them, And oh, by the way, I would like to beat them this year. Is it too early? We haven't played a single game yet, but I'm just noting I'd like to win the Florida game.
Isn't that what Spurrier was saying? I mean, like when he took over as the head football coach. Well, if you can't beat him, we got to find a way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe you start one of your weekend rotation guys in the midweek game against Florida this year. I don't care. It's gotten ridiculous. Do it. Start Van Eck. Let's be done with it.
No, I don't know.
No, listen, man.
They don't do that.
Well, they sometimes have. They have in the past, but they've also had a...
Sullivan just trots out 4 dudes who throw 96.
Well, I'm going to say they had an overabundance of people to choose from. We really haven't.
It's going to have to be like a 3-1 type game, too, if they hit the way he thinks they're going to hit. And I got to be
I never trust him when he says that.
He's a natural pessimist. I get it.
Offensively, he is, yes.
But this is another year where you go, ooh, all right, Reese is going to do some things. Okay.
Martin could do some things.
Yeah, Robbie can.
Yeah, Robbie Martin can do some things. You're a little worried, are you?
Not worried on the level that he is, but when you're facing Florida midweek and we've had better lineups have more trouble with their pitching.
Well, the bottom line is we lose J.C. Flowers, we lose Drew Mendoza, and we never expected to have the year that Flowers did. And we lose Salvatore, who was awesome. Yeah. So you lose 3 critical guys. That's 36 of Florida State's 81 home runs. Now look, you get a fully healthy Reese Albert, that changes things. That's gonna matter quite a bit. Nander, who is again. Tough love's looking at you, Nander. He's a better hitter than he showed a year ago.
Robbie's only in year 2, which is awesome, and he's the one that Meat heaped a lot of praise on before he ever played a game here.
We're going to pitch, though, brother. We're going to pitch. Starts tonight. We're going to pitch.
Loosen up your arms, your shoulders for your best strikeout dance.
I miss those guys that I used to sit with. I never knew their names. It was a kid and his girlfriend. They came to every game. They would go down the third baseline, and on beautiful days, I'd go out there to watch the game, and they would do the every time they'd play You Dropped the Bomb on Me for a home run, the kid would do the sprinkler dance and then the giddy up, and they did it every time. They didn't care. They celebrated unabashedly.
It'd be 16-2 like it often was.
The bomb, and it would go. I was like, look at this kid. He loves it. Yeah. He loved it. He did it, and his girlfriend would do the sprinkler and dance right next to him. I was like, these are good fans. They were pumped.
They were probably on the deck at Gordo's before the game started.
Oh, good times. Good times. Speaking of which, we got a new ad coming. My man Eddie is always excited about baseball season, just like we are. Hour number 2 will feature a court report. It's next. Stay tuned. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shera Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership. Milwaukee and Cornerstone Tool and Fastener are nothing but heavy duty. Buy a select group of Milwaukee M18 brushless fuel bare tools and receive a free M18 5.0 battery. Or purchase a Milwaukee M18 fuel Sawzall, 7 1/4 inch circular saw, rotary hammer, or fuel grinder and get a high capacity 8.0 battery free. Come see all the different selections at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, and while you're there, check out the new lower prices on bit tips and hole saws. Big store pricing with local service. 2 locations to choose from: 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
I really need a new refrigerator, and I want to get the best deal. But there are so many options, I don't know which one to choose. I wish there was a way to make this simpler.
With so many choices, a major appliance purchase like this can be overwhelming. The City of Tallahassee helps make the choice simple by offering rebates on Energy Star appliances. You can receive up to $300 in rebates on refrigerators, clothes washers, and more. Are you thinking about purchasing and installing a smart thermostat to help minimize your home energy costs? With the city's rebates, you can get up to $100 off eligible options. Stack your savings this holiday season by coupling in-store deals with rebates from the City of Tallahassee. Visit talgov.com/YOU. That's talgov.com/YOU. Or call 850-891-4968 to learn more. That's 850-891-4968.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Program number 21038 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 4/30/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens. Looking for a fun activity that supports a good cause? Look no further than the Tallahassee Glow Run. The first annual Tallahassee Glow Run takes place Saturday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. at FSU's main campus fields. Sign up for a glowing good time with all proceeds benefiting Catholic Charities of Northwest Florida, a group that supports all people in need from all faith denominations. Run, walk, or dance the 5K or 1K course with family, friends, and co-workers. To sign up, visit active.com and search for Glow Run. This event is proudly presented by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket. This is Four simple ingredients, one great taste. Enjoy responsibly. Now, from Florida's capital city, here's ESPN Tallahassee's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Tallahassee Game Day Court Report rolling on here in the Jeff Cameron Show. Hour number 2 of that, but just the start of Game Day's Court Report. That's a good thing because sandwiched in between, again, if you're listening to this on Saturday, you're just getting the Court Report. But we got baseball talk in that 5 o'clock hour, just as we had in that first hour with Mike Martin Jr. Good stuff there. So we get to tackle everything today. Let's go straight to the basketball, where today's top story is brought to you by AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping. Tree service, tree removal, tree pruning, and landscaping. AAA Tree Experts in Landscaping, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas for over 35 years. Head to AAATreeExperts.net today for your free quote. I would say this for the top story. I really want to see a couple guys play well. It's going to be important that we find some consistency with them, especially against this zone when you can try to shoot them out of it to some extent. That's the phrasing, if you will, over the years. I know they don't come out of it. It's their base, but obviously you can make life difficult on them by making shots. That's true of almost anything, and we didn't make a lot of them against Duke, and part of that was that there was a no-show from MJ Walker. So Tough Love Cameron makes an appearance early in the hour here. As I say, MJ Walker, I'm going to need you to not be terrible as you were the other night. Not a special evening for MJ Walker, not even a good half, which is what we're accustomed to getting from him. And I didn't think he played that well on defense either, Tom. So this really was a night where MJ hopefully just put it behind him and get back to playing the good brand of basketball that he was prior to that game. So Tough Love has to make an appearance early, but it's what we do.
Well, I think for me, the top story would be Elijah Hughes for Syracuse and his health. He left the game early in the week. They played NC State and lost. Lower body injury is what they called it at the time. Then they released the information that it was a groin strain. Elijah Hughes himself tweeted out, it's not a serious deal, not a big deal. However, a Syracuse spokesperson said yesterday to the media that he is going to be a game-time decision. And even if he's playing on a limited basis, given the fact that Syracuse doesn't have a whole lot of depth, that's a huge storyline as the Orange come here desperate for a victory in order to improve their tournament resume.
Well, and the thing to note here is, and I hate it for the young man, you don't root for injuries, but the one thing I will say is that is not a great injury for a basketball player. It's not a good injury for anybody, but it's especially a problem and can be grueling to try to play through an injury like that. You think about the stop-start motion of basketball and the shifting. You got to move your feet side to side. A lot of that herky-jerky, very difficult for those playing with pulled muscles, pulled groins especially. So I wish the young man well, but even if he's going to give it a go, and he will because Syracuse needs them and needs him, and they got to win some games. This would be a huge, huge resume builder. It wouldn't quite put them in, but I think it would go a long way in getting them towards getting off the bubble and finding their way into the NCAA tournament. So I would suspect that he will give it a go. I would be worried if I were them that it will crop up again throughout the course of the game because those things don't heal real quick.
Well, and that's the reason it's so critical, like I said before, is because Syracuse isn't all that deep. If you look at the way they played NC State earlier in the week, and this is a home game for the Orange, where they're not nearly as good as on the road. What a quirky season for them. But they've got, I think it's 4 guys playing excess of 32 minutes.
That's correct.
Including Buddy Boeheim, who obviously is a do-everything kind of guy for Coach Jim Boeheim. But, I mean, when you have 6 deep or 7 deep as your rotation and you lose probably your best player of those 6 or 7, I mean, that's unbelievably a huge blow. If he's playing at 80% today, that's a huge blow to their chances. Florida State can absorb injuries. We've seen that earlier this season. Patrick Williams has been out. MJ Walker's been out. Trent Forrest has been limited for different reasons. Balsa and Dom have been hurt at different times. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but that's the way Florida State rolls, man, because you could play 10 or 11 deep, and it doesn't matter who that 10th or 11th guy is. Somebody's going to step up, and somebody has consistently stepped up for FSU.
Well, it's a good thing for Syracuse that they do play well on the road because they're going to have to come in here and win. The bottom line is this: Florida State has won more than 95% of their home games dating back to 2015. You don't come into the TLC Double C and expect to walk away with a victory is the kind of thing that I like to say from time to time on the Jeff Cameron Show, and I'm saying it here on the Court Report because it's statistically accurate. That is true. You don't come in here and expect to get a win. Think about that. At 61-3 in their last 64 home games for Florida State, the Noles entered the game against Syracuse having won 95.3% of those games and just over 91% of their ACC games at home. They're 32-3 there too. It's rather remarkable. All of this began with a 77-56 win over number 23 Notre Dame at the time back in 2015. Do you remember the game?
I'm sorry, the score one more time?
77-56, Florida State over then-ranked Notre Dame.
Somewhat. Not really, though. Typically, I have a good picture of how the game played out, but I have to be honest. No, not really.
Of course, the Noles are also undefeated at home this year. They were 15-1 at home during the 2018-2019 season, and 18-0, including 9-0 in the ACC in 2016-2017. So you get the drift. You get the picture here. Syracuse is a good road team. They're going to have to be a great, great road team to come in here and win a game against Florida State, who, coming off a loss, no doubt, highly motivated to get back in the win column and really, frankly, I think retain their top 10 positioning.
The one thing that's key for Florida State today for me is obviously the perimeter shooting, coming off of a 3-for-18 performance against Duke. We've seen this now a couple of times with the Big Monday following a Saturday game. Florida State looks a little bit dead in the legs. That affects the way you shoot. There were stretches in the second half where you could see that the five on the floor were absolutely gassed. One of them was Trent Forrest, and even though he only played 24 minutes last week against Miami, by about, the 9-minute mark in the second half, he's looking to the bench saying, I need a break. There's too much up and down going on around here.
Yeah, and he was doing it all, though. I mean, that's why. He was stealing, he was rebounding, he was shooting, he was doing everything.
But it affects the way that you score the basketball, the efficiency with which you score the basketball. And last week, if it's any indication, you should see a bounce-back effort from us in shooting today, because the difference between our performance against North Carolina a week ago Monday and then obviously the performance against Miami a week ago Saturday, drastic, night and day. So if Florida State can shoot it a little bit today or tomorrow, depending upon when you're listening, that obviously will speak volumes to whether or not they pull away, run away, and hide from the 2-3 zone and what Syracuse brings to the table, or if it's a close game because they struggle from beyond the arc again and they can't get inside that zone.
You know, I suspect they'll play really well against Syracuse. I think that the rest will do them well. Hamilton had talked about how much he hates those quick turnarounds for all the kids in the ACC and how TV dictates that. It's not just his guys. He hates it for all the basketball players in the league. But they have had this time off, and they will be fueled by that frustrating loss to Duke. And they really were, in that particular contest, something outside of themselves. That was an anomaly. Florida State can score. We've seen them go through long stretches where they really play well offensively. So, to me, that was an outlier performance. Usually when you get an outlier performance in a negative way like that, you come back and return to something of the norm, and you see a team come out and be a little bit more characteristic as to, who they are. And by the way, this is these stats are fun. That's why I'm repeating them, and usually it's a good thing to lead the hour with when you're talking about Florida State going into a new game. If Florida State wins against Syracuse, that will be the 21st win of the season. It would mark the school's record fourth consecutive season, Tom, that the Noles will have pulled out at least 21 wins in a given year. That's 4 straight years of 21 wins. Florida State, by the way, in the last 4 years, you really want to think about how special it's been? They're averaging 24.5 wins a season, nearly 25 wins a year in Tallahassee for this program over the last 4 years. It's hard to imagine. I mean, and obviously it goes without saying, you win this game, you moved 11-3 in the ACC, you keep yourself in line to compete for the conference title, regular season title, you'd still be in it. Still have a chance to maybe get there. It would mark the 7th time in school history that Florida State's won 11 games in a season in the ACC. Now that's going to change some because they've moved the schedule to 20 ACC games. But, there's a lot of consistency. There's a lot of record-breaking. Feels like every year when we do these previews now, I find another nugget, or Chuck Walsh delivers another nugget in the game notes where you go, wow, I didn't know we did this. I didn't know we were top 3 in the ACC over the last 8 years. I didn't know we were the best rebounding team over the last 10 games in conference play. I didn't know we were the only undefeated team in the ACC at home. All these crazy stats that once again indicate that there's a new standard that's been set here.
Well, this is where I probably still have an appreciation for where the program is when you go to win totals, because I feel like it was just yesterday we won 26 games and I felt over the moon about it.
It's true.
And somehow we are years removed from that. I mean, that team that went to the second round and gotten their doors blown off by Xavier, right?
Yeah.
That was 3 full years ago.
Since that time, they've beaten Chris Mack every time that they've played him.
I know.
Yes.
They've more than accounted for it for that loss as
yes.
a program. And we've been to an Elite Eight and a Sweet 16. But it feels like that season, the one where we did not lose at home, not in conference, not in out of conference, that feels like last year. But it's just been this epic run. Like if you were a freshman on campus as an undergrad student, not a basketball player, just a freshman on campus, what you've witnessed when you've gone to nobody's ever seen that in this program's history.
That is true. They never have. And I was here at a time where they were really good. I mean, you got to think back in the early 90s, Tom, you're talking about, we're talking about a run into the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight when Florida State had Charlie Ward and Sam Cassell and Bobby Sura and Rodney Dobard and Doug Edwards. And those teams, those were NBA guys, and they were an elite team. And so I remember after that thinking, well, I don't know that we'll ever get back there. It's just not who we are. And here we are.
So last week, before the game starts, I went over to a partner of ours, one of our supporters, Madison Social. They had the mimosa deal, and it was too good for me to turn down.
It's a damn good deal.
So we're sitting next to 2 recent FSU grads. They got to be in their mid-20s at maybe the oldest, at best. And one of them still lives here, and one of them moved away, but he comes up for the basketball games. And I was talking to them about how weird was it to be here. And they said, well, our first 2 years on campus, we made the Peach Bowl, and we lost to Houston, and then we made the Orange Bowl and beat Michigan. So we kind of got a taste, not what was like 29 straight good, but we got a taste of what the football life was like. But we've been awesome in basketball the entire time here.
Yeah.
I come back for games because that was my experience. That was my experience as a student, was these moments at the TLC Double C, these moments in the tournament, and this is what we all got together for, huddle around a TV to watch or travel to go see. And I just thought, wow, that is such a unique FSU experience for undergrads, but it's not going away anytime soon.
Well, I'm glad you shared it because I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. I mean, in my mind, Florida State is always going to be and always has been a football school. But again, if you were a student most recently and you've gone through these 4 years, and I just laid bare the stats a moment ago, those 4 years saw you average 24-plus wins a season, you could see how you would get swept away by the basketball program, especially since simultaneously the football program was flying into the side of a mountain.
Maybe that's why we should better realize and expect that students show up a half an hour, 45 minutes before the game and fill out the student section because it's the hot ticket. I mean, I can remember being a freshman at Florida State way back when in 2006 and doing the ticket lottery. And I remember when I got my ticket for Duke. And that was an experience like football paled in comparison to what it was like, the cutthroat nature to try and get that ticket, to get there to watch J.J. Redick come to town. This is like our generation's Zion Williamson was J.J. freaking Redick. Zion
torched our ass.
He did, but we won the game. We won that game. We stormed the court twice. But that's like every single big ACC game for these kids. It's just, it's got to be a bizarre deal.
Yeah, I think it's funny to talk to younger fans and younger alumni and younger Florida State fans in general, just supporters of the university, because they really do come at it from the standpoint of maybe this is the year we're going to win a national championship or go to the Final Four. And I have to confess, at 48 years old, I still haven't gotten used to that. I still struggle when I hear that because initially I want to go, well, let's not get crazy. Like my initial response wants to be like, hey, let's have realistic expectations. It's Florida State basketball. But now I stop myself every time, and I'm like, well, yeah, maybe this is the year. Yeah, we've gotten to a place where you can throw that out there, and it's not unreasonable.
Well, I'm in a weird place with this team, though, because obviously the way the field is, the relative strength of the field this year versus the last 2 or 3, it's weaker. So you have opportunities there. But this team is so far ahead of schedule that, let's just say we win our first round game and then we lose a heartbreaker in the second round. We don't go to the Sweet 16. Am I going to be disappointed? Yeah. But am I going to be, pissed off because we didn't live up to expectations? That's a really difficult question because preseason-wise, that's a rousing success of a season for us. But now with where we've been, consistently in the top 10 of the rankings. We were in the top 5 for 4 consecutive weeks, hopefully 5 if we get to catch a couple of breaks with other teams losing around us this weekend. Maybe it is fair to expect that we make the second weekend of the tournament, and anything else would be a disappointment. It's just interesting because 3 months ago, you win 1 game in the tournament, you're good. Now you might need to win 2 minimum.
We're at the time of the year where the analysts who cover the sport, whether it's for ESPN or Sports Illustrated or SB Nation, whomever it might be that you're looking to. And there are a lot of basketball sites, basketball-only sites that do a real good job too. You'll note that in the game notes, they'll take quotes from whoever the writer is, the analyst is, the coach is, the expert at the time that is breaking down what Florida State is or is not and what their chances are. Because now everybody's beginning to sneak peek. I mean, it is February 14th, February 15th if you're listening to this on Saturday. It's time to start looking at March. I mean, we're practically there. It's a short month, right? And so everybody's taking inventory. And I love reading these quotes that they find from play-by-play guys, color analysts, writers. I'm not in love with Pat Forty, who can be. But this is a great point that he makes here when assessing what Florida State can be and what they are and maybe what they'll be seeded as you look ahead to March. And he writes, Florida State is the number 10 team with the committee. They're number 13 in the net. The Noles are 10-2 in the league with a big win on the road at Louisville for the resume. It's a classic Leonard Hamilton team of long, athletic defenders leading the nation in block shot percentage and ranking in the top 10 in steal percentage. But this version of the Noles can really shoot it from beyond the three-point line and on the foul line, better than they have in years. Florida State also has had an injury it can enter into the seeding argument. Their all-world freshman Patrick Williams missed 2 games with a sprained toe, and one of those games that he missed turned into a loss at Virginia. He's averaging 14 points and 7 boards since. It's interesting. It's a good point to make here because I really do look at the Virginia game as a game we would not have lost. I said it at the time if Patrick Williams had played. He's just that kind of difference maker. And he's also right about the fact that we really can shoot it. We did not in this last game against Duke.
It's funny. He wrote that clearly before Monday's game, too, because you could see it from the records.
Right.
But from the free throw line and the three-point line.
But those two things, once again, illuminate what an outlier that was because he wasn't wrong to write that. We really do shoot it well from beyond the arc, and we led the nation for a while in free throw percentage, lead the conference in free throw percentage. And, neither one of those things happened to be going for us on that night. That's why I was so buoyed, I think, by a loss, is that I thought, that's not who we are. Oh, the steals were, the block shots were, the playing good defense was, but that nothing resembled us offensively.
Well, and I think just if you're looking at it from a micro perspective like we do every day, here's the place we are as a program, at least for me, the way I approach games. When we play Virginia in the pack line or Louisville in their version of the pack line, Syracuse for this game with the 2-3. I want to see how we react. It's not the question a few years ago was we need to find a way to win this game. I don't care how ugly it is. We need to find a way to win this game because we've got to get into the tournament, give ourselves a chance to get hot and get a good draw. That's not part of the conversation anymore. We're in, man. We're in. And we're playing for Tampa. We're playing for a high enough seed that we can go play in front of some friendly fans for 2 games and give ourselves the best chance to make the Sweet 16. Now all it's about is, well, all right, let's go up to Cameron Indoor on a Monday night, short rest, and let's see what we can put out there. Let's see what we can learn about ourselves as a team towards the ultimate goal. Against Syracuse, it's a different look. They're presenting us a different look. That's the principle that they lay out there. Their 2-3 is a little bit different than in years past, but it's still a 2-3. How do we attack it? It's about fact-finding. It's not about your tournament life. It's about, this is a fun experiment. Let's watch it as a fun experiment rather than, a game of dire need.
We used to watch games and think, by hook or crook, it can be an outlier. You can have a guy get hot. You just got to cross your fingers. You find a way to forge the victory here because we need this one. And if we don't get it, I don't know that we're going to make the tournament. You're right. We don't do that anymore. Now it's just is there a style of play that gives us more trouble than others so that we can be informed when we go into the NCAA tournament of the kind of matchup that we're going to be going against, whether it's favorable or not? That's really what we're doing. We're educating ourselves as to the type of teams we're going to have to beat and those that give us trouble in the NCAA tournament in each passing round. That's kind of what we're doing.
That's how the other half has lived for a long, long time.
It's fun. We do thank our Tallahassee Game Day Court Report sponsors. Bud Light, the crisp taste of Bud Light, perfectly accompanies all of the madness this time of year. Please enjoy your Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch beverage distributor Tri-Eagle Sales. More of Tallahassee.
Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Well, would you look at this goodness? Our friends at For the Table Hospitality are doing the right thing per usual. It's time for the 4th annual Tallahassee Wine Mixer and Mozfest. Tallahassee's best wine festival is back for another year right there in the shadow of beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. The date is Saturday, March the 7th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Centrale Pizza, Parm and Bar. VIP tickets are just $60 and feature unlimited wine sampling, unlimited charcuterie, ooh, fancy, unlimited mozzarella cheese, oh, forget about it, this is good stuff, unlimited games and a commemorative glass to boot. 2020 is going to be the best Tallahassee wine mixer yet. We certainly like to thank our friends at Visit Tallahassee for all of their help. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search Tallahassee Wine Mixer.
AAA Tree Experts has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer landscaping? AAA landscaping services include custom outdoor landscape, creative landscape design and architecture, hardscapes, waterscapes, retention walls, and French drains, irrigation and sodding, landscape and holiday lighting. Call them today for all your outdoor landscaping needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Milwaukee and Cornerstone Tool and Fastener are nothing but heavy duty. Buy a select group of Milwaukee M18 brushless fuel bare tools and receive a free M18 5.0 battery. Or purchase a Milwaukee M18 fuel sawzall, 7 1/4 inch circular saw, rotary hammer, or fuel grinder and get a high capacity 8.0 battery free. Come see all the different selections at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, and while you're there, check out the new lower prices on bit tips and hole saws. Big store pricing with local service. 2 locations to choose from: 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
The madness is coming to the corner pocket.
They're in trouble. Desperation. Yes!
Choose the place with Tallahassee's best TVs. The Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall. 8 50-inch crystal clear flat screens. You won't miss a second of the action. Corner Pocket's your headquarters for the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! Good! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets. Come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Tallahassee Game Day Court Report. Cameron and Tom Lang.
Florida State looking again for win number 21 on the season. They'll have to get it over Syracuse, who will come into this one, one would think, pretty desperate. Obviously, that's a program that needs a signature win, needs to find a way to begin to make the case. So much about what remains on Florida State's schedule really is about how we handle the desperation of our opponents. You're going to get a lot of that. There's revenge on the mind of Louisville, for example. It's not like they're not going to come in here and play exceptionally hard. I mean, the division, the conference is on the line. But also they'll be a little bit angry about having been throttled at the Yum Center by us. And, I mean, that really was kind of an emasculating loss. We really manhandled them. Their coach said as much after the game. So you're going to get that. But you're going to get mostly what you see here today, and that is a desperate Syracuse team trying to find a way to impress the committee. And you're going to see it up and down the remaining games. You probably only have, one game remaining against a team that will be completely bereft of hope and maybe not give much effort. I'm kind of thinking of North Carolina there. I mean,
we are done with the Tar Heels.
Not North Carolina. Who was I thinking of? There's somebody.
We got
Pitt.
BC.
It was Pitt, who's not going to have much.
We got BC, the final game of the year as well.
Yeah, there were a couple that I thought they may go through the motions. But, yeah, I mean, to me, most of the time you're going to get somebody desperate trying to find a signature win.
Absolutely. I'd even argue that Pitt might still have delusions of grandeur on Tuesday night. But, yeah, you got to be used to it. I think by now we kind of are, though, because the ACC is in such a vulnerable position this year that road trips to Virginia and Virginia Tech back-to-back, those two games, those crowds knew exactly what was on the line. They needed to have those games. Virginia Tech obviously didn't get it, and they spiraled out of control after.
Yeah, but you'll get it on the road at NC State, Louisville here, Clemson when we're on the road there might be in a position to be fighting, you know.
We'll see what I think Mike Bray might have him fighting anyway because of what he perceives to be an injustice.
But also they're in the mix. Notre Dame is kind
of
in the mix.
Yeah. They need to start winning those games at some point, or else they won't be in the mix when they play us, and it'll just be to, spoil.
And there won't be spoiling much at that point. I mean, especially if we win these aforementioned games. I'm fascinated. I love us against Syracuse, obviously, and I love us against Pitt. But I'm interested with the road NC State game, and obviously we're probably, if we're taking care of business, going to be having a top 10 matchup in that Louisville-Florida State game.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, the NC State game's interesting for two reasons next week. I know today's about Syracuse, but you're looking ahead to Monday. You're trying to battle against that, the look ahead against Louisville on Monday.
It's also just frustrating to have to play a game like that again. That's part of the Saturday-Monday thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's a 4 o'clock tip, so it's a little bit later in the day. And NC State will be desperate. So for two reasons, we need to have our focus ready to go next week, as we need to have it ready on Syracuse.
The oddity about our ascendance in the conference, I think, is best represented a little bit by Syracuse and the program that they are not, or that they haven't been really since joining the league. Syracuse was a juggernaut. Their coach, a Hall of Famer. You thought, and so did I and every other Noel out there, that when we invited Louisville and Syracuse into the conference, we thought about it, I guess, briefly from a football standpoint. What does it mean? Not all that much. Louisville's an ascending program because they have money and they're investing. But where you really thought about it was, holy moly, the ACC was already really difficult in basketball. Now we're bringing in two tradition-laden national championship caliber programs annually into the ACC. And I think, once again, it helps to further illuminate, again, just how well Florida State has played, because at that point I thought, man, we're never going to win this conference. We're never going to have a chance to win this conference. I mean, we already had Duke and North Carolina to deal with, and several other really good programs, rich programs who, certainly develop and push resources towards the program. Virginia, for example, and all that they had spent. And so I thought, man, this is death. But we've been better than Syracuse since they joined the ACC. And we just have.
They have one better result where they got in as a completely average team, and they make a run to the Final Four.
That's a run. That's not a season. That's just a singular run.
Success.
No, we've been the more successful program. Yeah. I never thought that I would be talking about, in a pregame show involving Florida State taking on Syracuse, anything other than us saying, well, we have to find a way to pull an upset, or they've got better players, so going to have to find a way to mitigate this matchup or this matchup. I don't think of them that way. I think of us as the better program and the better team.
Right, yeah. If you were to describe blank resumes, right, so you don't know who the program is, but one team, and you don't know what the season has been yet, and one team is a group that has a lot of freshmen, so they're growing. They're learning on the fly. They don't have much depth, so they rely on zone defense, and they rely on, the ability of 5 or 6 guys to carry them, and hopefully, a growth, a fast growth and development for those freshmen to be integrated in the lineup to play at ACC
expedited learning
level.
curve, sure.
And then you have another group that's 11 or 12 deep, has blue chippers, 5 stars on their team.
NBA roster, a couple guys.
A couple of guys that are going to be going to the NBA in the next couple of years, if not this upcoming season, that's been in the top 10 for basically the entirety of 2020 since New Year's Day. They've been in the top 5 for a month straight. And you could assign Florida State and Syracuse to one or the other.
Correct.
I mean, it's a no-brainer which way you do it if you got out of a time machine right now. But unfortunately, you're in a different dimension, pal. Yeah. You're in Florida State's world. This is Florida State's time.
I'm having fun going back, and I wanted to double-check some things here because I was talking about our scoring and our ability to shoot, and I'm just looking at scores from our games this year. We really are a pretty weird team in that we can play it however you want to play it. We had the Pitt loss, 63-61. They shot 1 million free throws. We turned around, went on the road, and beat Florida and scored 63 points in that game. We were right there early on in the season. We're kind of thinking, are we going to be a team that scores in the 60s? That's going to be who we are. We had that war against Western Carolina, I think it was, 79-74. But then we start scoring, then you start seeing Florida State really put the ball in the basket. You get the 89 points, then you get the 80 points, then you get 113 points. Sorry, Chicago State. But all of a sudden, you're starting to see us really put the ball in the basket. You get that battle against Tennessee in which we win. That gets overshadowed these days. So does the Purdue win. We score in the 60s there. Then we go on the road. We're tired. We had the quick turnaround. We had 2 days of rest before playing Indiana on the road.
Indiana pasted Iowa last night, too.
And it's a big win for them to stay on the right side of the bubble. So that's where they are. But 80-64 over us, they win. And then from there, it's incredible. We win by 19. We win by 17. We win by 6, but that game was weird. Florida State dominated South Florida. Then we win by 17. We win by 12. We end up pasting Louisville by 13. We end up winning by 10 over Wake. We win a close game against Virginia. Then we win that overtime game against Miami, which is close. Another close game against Notre Dame. We were finding ways to win games. But in those games, we're scoring in the 80s in both those contests. I guess what I'm getting at is if you want to play it to where, we got to win by scoring, 85 points, 95 points, 99 against Miami most recently, fine, we can do that. You want to get bogged down and have to, win a game 74-68 or 65-62, we can do that too.
Yeah.
And that's that defense that's usually omnipresent.
Well, for me, I think today is a game, whether Hughes plays or not. This is a group in Syracuse that if we come in with an edge, you can muscle them. You can muscle these guys. I know young Boeheim, he plays the perimeter in that zone. He's 6'6", so he can affect shots. And they've got guys who are rim protectors in height. But if you want to get down low and play physical, if you want to play physical defensively speaking, this is a group you can push around a little bit. One of their guards is Joseph Girard III. He was another guy who jacked up a ton of shots against NC State, played a ton of minutes as they do with the short bench. But he's 6'1". I mean, once again, these are a bunch of guys that, they play to a system, and the system works. And if you're not up to the task, they're going to turn you over a bunch. We're going to be standing around a lot and looking for an opening, and there won't be one because they stick to their principles, and they guard as well, and they block shots. But this is, if we're locked in today and we're as pissed off as I think we might be from what, we let go by the wayside against Duke, this is a group that after about, 10, 15 minutes of the game, you'll go, ooh, boy. They can't do anything with us. We're just going to move them wherever we want to move them.
I'm going to continue to circle and get excited by and watch closely the growth of Patrick Williams. Because you're talking about muscling people, and you're talking about beating people up and getting to your spots and doing what you want to do.
Starting to feel his powers.
This is what he is. This is what he can be. It's troubling because I dare throw it out there, and I don't like to speak it into existence, but, We've seen this before where a guy, you're like, there's no way he can go pro. He hasn't done enough. And then all of a sudden, you're like, man, that's like 7 games in a row. He's been the best player on the floor. You start getting nervous. If he has a few of these games down the stretch, we're going to be talking about losing him as well.
And you know what? He wasn't the guy I was thinking of in my mind when I was saying all that. I was thinking of Trent.
Yeah.
Because we saw that Trent.
Oh, sure.
That guy, that dude on Monday, if he comes back with that type of effort today, he's going to be able to move these guards and bully him where he wants, when he wants.
We thank our Tallahassee Game Day Court Report sponsors, Lisa's Paint and Body Shop. Choose a body shop that is working for you and looking out for you as well. Someone you can trust. That's Lisa's Paint and Body, located at 2820 Mahan Drive. More Tallahassee Game Day Court Report in a moment.
Cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
People always appreciate it when you deliver on a promise and go the extra mile. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, our team would treat you like you would want to be treated. Zero interest financing and low monthly payments are available when you're approved for the Carrier credit card. Apply at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature Which, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
During our President's Day sales event, we're celebrating our 20th year in business. Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is now offering a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all of the new car inventory. The Ram 1500 is back-to-back 2019 and 2020 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and now comes with an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. And with over 100 Ram 1500s in stock, they are ready for immediate delivery. You can lease it for just $249 a month with just $19.99 down. The all-new 2020 Jeep Gladiator is the hottest Jeep in the market right now, and you can lease it for just $289 a month with just $19.99 down. And all of our Jeeps come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. See dealer for details on powertrain warranty. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives. Sport package leases are 36 months with $19.88 down and 10,000 miles with approved credit.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Yes, yes, yes. That is right, good sir. Baseball is upon us.
Hey, man, what are you having?
An El Gordo and a Gordo smash. Going all in on the Gordos in honor of baseball, my good friend.
Get me an El Gordo and a Gordo smash. Those are the reasons you always come back.
You were all in on that singing.
And I dance, too.
No. Not necessary.
Watch. All right.
Off the bar, Eddie!
No, watch.
And the tapping?
Oh.
Sweet Jesus, Eddie, are you all right?
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Gordos, where Eddie will dance on the bar. In baseball. Yay, baseball. And Gordos.
The great
Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, who's celebrating their 95th year in business this year, would like to recognize their newest members.
Hi, I'm Corey Melton, the Vice President of Membership, and I'm proud on behalf of the Chamber to welcome our newest members from December and January. American Cancer Society, Bath Fitter, Bob Fish Homes, Body Mechanics, Physiotherapy and Fitness, David Cannon, Realtor with Eden & Company, Express Employment Professionals, iDope, Florida Floors, Growler Country, Homes and Land of Tallahassee, Jet Medical Center, Tallahassee, Not Responsible, Lull Water at Blairstone, Move, Office Depot, Osaka Japanese Steakhouse, Huff for Less, Stacy Lee Portraits, Strayer University, Telegen, Terminix of Tallahassee, The Refinery Bar Fitness Studios, Trail and Ski, and the Waffle House.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Charlie Pellett. Brought to you by Grainger, America's trusted source for industrial and safety supplies. Visit Grainger.com. Under Armour is warning of soft 2020 results, and coronavirus is getting part of the blame. The sports apparel company is warning that the coronavirus outbreak in China will mean $50 to $60 million in lost sales in the final quarter of 2020. Both Nike and Adidas have said that the virus will hurt business in China. Nike had to close about half of its company-owned stores, and stores that remained open were operating with reduced hours. And Callaway Golf is another business citing the coronavirus for missed results. Its first quarter and full year 2020 forecast trailed Wall Street estimates. And CBS will make William Hill its exclusive online sports betting and data provider. William Hill is based in London. It goes back to 1934. That's the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report. I'm Charlie Pellett.
My portfolio's diversified, my 401k's maxed, but my savings account just sat there till I switched it to Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I'm earning way more now, and just between you and me, my savings are right on track. Feels like I got upgraded for free.
You can money. With an online savings account from Marcus by Goldman Sachs, you could earn much more interest than with the largest banks. Sign up at Marcus.com.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of January 21st, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Attention everyone. With Dell's President's Day sale, get monumental savings on Dell Business PCs with Intel Core processors and business tech. Deals are live now with doorbusters up to 60% off on President's Day the 17th. Our small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business at President's Day prices by calling 877-BUY-DELL. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Prediction time. Florida State, Syracuse tomorrow, noon. Woohoo! So, do we attack the zone and do well? I think so. Today's game predictions brought to you by Lane's Medical Shop. With locations in Colquitt and Blakely, Lane's Medical Shop offers all your medical supply needs and will even deliver to you with emergency service available. Lane's Medical Shop, 229-308-5811. That was a save. You guys hear that save? It was good. 229-308-5811. Thanks, Lane's Medical Shop. We do appreciate you. We truly do.
So last time we did this for a home game, I had a feeling that obviously Devin Vassell, he'd bounce back from only scoring 6 the previous game. I thought MJ Walker would be a factor. That was true. The two of them came to life. I think once again it's an offensive bounce back for Florida State. You got dead legs, second half. Cameron Indoor couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. Even the first half, he come out 0 for 8. You're going to hit some shots from the perimeter. The question for me is, beyond predicting the game, is how do you get through and how do you reconcile the fact that Syracuse 2-3 includes activity from the wings where they're going to come out beyond the arc and challenge your shots?
We're going to be fine, Tom, because they're exhausted. I was looking at the numbers from Syracuse, and it is evident that Jim Boeheim does not feel strongly about the players not named starters. He plays their asses till they are in the ground. It's crazy. And that's not what you do before you play us.
including Buddy Boeheim, his kid, which it's like, wow, you got a kid who's college age. He's not like Chris Winkie playing for you. He's, he's a teenager playing for you.
Yeah.
That's weird.
How old is Boeheim? 80?
He's got to be in his 70s.
Yeah. Look that up. I'm kind of curious how old Jim Boeheim is. He looks really old, but he has looked really old for 40 years. So I don't know if maybe I've been deceived, and maybe it's not so odd that he has a college-age kid. I'm not sure. That said, no, I do like our depth to wear this team out specifically. We do it to a lot of people, but there are teams in the ACC who do have, an 8-9 guy rotation that they feel good about. Syracuse ain't one of them.
75 years young.
All right.
Jim Boeheim.
There you go.
Welcome to town.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how we match up against them. I'm excited to see how we attack the zone. I'm excited to see us put the ball in the basket because we didn't do a whole hell of a lot of that against Duke. And yet there we were right up until the very end. A one-possession game and a chance to win it or at least send it to overtime late, and we did nothing right on offense. So at home, we tend to, at the TLC Double C, do an awful lot right on offense. The creature comforts of the TLC Double C have been made evident.
Well, and the other prediction would be for an angry effort, right? A spirited effort, one that shows that, we know what we missed out on Monday night at Cameron Indoor. In producing Front Row Knowles this week with Tom Block and Keith Jones, and Keith, of course, travels with the team because he's on the radio broadcast, Tom asked Keith about the mindset. What was it like on the plane ride back? Was it angry? Was it quiet? Did they, just brush it off their shoulder? No big deal. Right. And Keith said it was quiet. They were pissed because they knew. They knew. If they played a B, probably just a B game, not even a B+, they'd probably walk away with a win.
If Florida State wins on Saturday, Tom, I think they're going to stay in the top 10 because you've looked at the kind of the massacre within the top 25 over the last 10 days. There have been a lot of teams that have dropped games. You lose a 5-point game on the road at Cameron, and most people who watched that game certainly saw that we were every bit capable from an athletic standpoint of hanging with Duke.
We weren't playing over our head to barely be in the game.
No. In fact, we were underwhelming, and we still had a chance to win the game. If anything, I think that sends the message. It clearly did to Jay Billis, and it seems to me that it did to others that, wow, Florida State didn't even play well tonight, and here they are. And we were probably, for a lot of people, kind of an eye-opening team to watch because the thought was if you were looking at it objectively, you thought, well, they can't hit a broadside of a barn, but they'll stay in a game because you cannot score on this team if they have decided to contest everything, and they'll strip the ball, and they'll create offense where there isn't any because of it, live ball turnovers in the open floor, all of that. Imagine, we talked so much this week about how many threes they missed and how many missed free throws they had, and those were really glaring. I get why we talked about it. But I think the other thing is that we missed a lot of point-blank layups. When you create 16, now there was 21 turnovers, but when you create 16 steals and you have their live ball turnovers, Bills kept bringing it up, and you only outscore your opponent off of turnovers 15-7, that means you did not score in those opportunities, and not even close. I mean, it's less than a point per steal. You got to do better than that. And, I think it's a blanket statement. You could just say it. I think it's true. There has not been a single game this year where the percentage that we cashed in on those turnovers had been lower.
Well, and I'm sure some of those were free throws. I don't know how many, but at least a few, right? And obviously you're hitting some you have some open transition threes. You're not hitting them. We only hit 3 for the game, and Malik Osborne had 2 of them, I believe, right? The one thing I will say though, if you're trying to play cautious optimist, not straight optimist, is this. It'd be nice to see a complete effort at some point here, wouldn't it? I mean, I get it. We're playing in some areas. We play better on defense. The North Carolina game, we played very well defensively. Against Miami, didn't really care to play defense all that much. Let's just outscore them, and we do. I sure would like to see us put it together against a Syracuse or even Pitt on Tuesday.
I think we're in a good position because we're talking about things that sound almost too picky. Out loud. I get what you're saying.
Well, I mean, when have you walked out of the building saying, we played well today?
I felt like we played real well against Miami. I think that once we put the clamps on them in the second half and we just continued to score, that was a pretty complete game. I think early on we were content to go up and down the floor because we knew we were deeper and more talented, and we're like, you want to do this? Okay, you'll get worn out. But, I mean, and that happened. We kind of dominated there from that point forward, and I felt like they played a pretty complete game there. especially considering we went to overtime with them the time before and all that. I'll just say again, though, that this is a good problem to have where we're almost like perfectionists right now as fans and analysts. We're looking at this team and we see the potential where if everybody plays well or to their abilities, you have an opportunity to just blow people out. And if we don't do it, we're like, well, they've just got to figure that. And, it's just cool to be that kind of picky.
Well, yes, I think it's appropriate, though. Given the standard that's being set,
yeah.
well, and given what this team has done, which is surprise us in areas that we did not expect them to be proficient, they are. And then you see what the field is doing this year. I come back to that often to remind myself that, hey, maybe this group as currently constructed 3 years ago wouldn't have amounted to a top 3 team in the ACC. Probably wouldn't because of the flaws in their game. But look at the field. Look at the way the conference is set up. Look at the top 15 in the country and how it changes every 2 weeks. I mean, there's complete turnover from about 6 to 15 every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You're shuffling, getting inside the 10, or you're right on the fringe of being in the top 15. This one's open for business this year. So you've got an opportunity to cash in on, and that's why you feel the urgency and you feel that picky about what we're doing.
I'm really excited, and I think tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. It's a great day as Seminoles because you go to the arena, you go to the TLCCC, you watch us win a big basketball game. I think we're going to win it comfortably. And then you watch some baseball. It's just going to be ideal. And this is where you get real excited about what lies ahead for spring. It's
there's a lot in front of us. I mean, it's again, Valentine's Day is the 14th of February by definition, but you're halfway through February and you know that this team is going to be playing meaningful basketball about 5 weeks from now. And maybe longer, hopefully.
I'm going to take us by 10 or more. What say you?
I don't know, maybe 8 to 10. I think it's going to be a comfortable one. Yeah. I just think we're going to shoot better. We're going to shoot better, which is going to cause them all sorts of problems with their 2-3. And I think we're going to score quite a few buckets in transition. We're going to finish the job on those live ball turnovers this time around.
Did we bother to look? Did either one of us, you and I, have not looked, have we? What is the line for this game? Have you seen it? I'm pulling it up right now. My handy-dandy betting machine, which is known as a computer.
Usually it's just the day before the numbers released.
It can be difficult to find, but sometimes
I had no interest in touching this, so that would be the first reason why I haven't looked at it.
You have no interest in touching this one, huh?
No, I don't. No, because it could be a low scoring game, it could be a high scoring game. I think when you're looking at totals, it could be either way. And if I don't know what range the score is going to come in,
if you don't feel like you can predict the style,
yeah.
I'll give. As long as it's not more than 10, I'm giving. I'm good to go.
9.5.
I'll give it.
So what, he says.
You've got Cuse in 9.5. There you go. We'll do it for a tall boy.
So that's just, no matter what the line is, I'll take the Cuse in 9.5.
Well, if you're getting 16, we're going to have a problem. But anyhow, I like us big. Today's game predictions were brought to you by Lane's Medical Shop with locations in Colquitt and Blakely. Lane's Medical Shop offers all your medical supply needs and will even deliver to you with emergency service available. Lane's Medical Shop, 229-308-5811. If you're listening on Saturday morning before the game, then have fun and enjoy the game and all that. If you're listening right now live here on Libations Friday, get ready for my long-form conversation with Mike Martin Jr. Sat down with me earlier this morning, and it's a good one. It's a great preview for the upcoming season. It also reveals a lot about his staff and who he is and the differences in philosophy, et cetera. You'll want to stay tuned for that. That's next on The Jeff Cameron Show.
the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Program number 21038 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 4/30/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Looking for a fun activity that supports a good cause? Look no further than the Tallahassee Glow Run. The first annual Tallahassee Glow Run takes place Saturday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. at FSU's main campus fields. Sign up for a glowing good time with all proceeds benefiting Catholic Charities of Northwest Florida, a group that supports all people in need from all faith denominations. Run, walk, or dance the 5K or 1K course with family, friends, and co-workers. To sign up, visit active.com and search for Glow Run. This event is proudly presented by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Golick and Wingo.
I can't explain it. Well, obviously, I felt very strongly about Patrick Mahomes going into this game, but sometimes you just get a sense that something's going to happen, right? Like in Super Bowl 50, whatever the carcass was that was left of Peyton Manning somehow got to Super Bowl 50 with an incredible defense by the Denver Broncos. Carolina was by far the better team that year. They had the number one scoring offense without their best play wide receiver. They had the MVP in Cam Newton. But once Peyton and the Broncos got there for Super Bowl 50, I was like, really? Peyton Manning, the first family of football, they're not going to win in the 50th Super Bowl? There's no way. Of course they're going to find a way to win. And in the 50th year, 50 years since their last Super Bowl appearance, Andy Reid went into Super Bowl 54 with 221 career wins. So that means he got his 222nd career win on 2/2/20. I mean, sometimes things are just written in the stars.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
It's a fun one to do. I feel like I'm taking the field. It's a good thing for Florida State I'm not. But I'm ready for baseball. I've been ready for baseball. I'm always ready for baseball. And here to talk to us about Florida State baseball is the head coach, Mike Martin Jr., and he joins us now. Hey, Meade, how are you, brother?
I'm good, Jeff.
Well, first of all, I know we've already talked since you were named head coach, but congratulations on opening day finally arriving and you being the head man here. I know you've got to be elated, excited. I know you won't get distracted because it's about getting a win and then going on and finding more as we go down the line and getting better every day. But talk to me about your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts on all this as you get set to sit in that dugout as the head coach for the first time ever at Florida State.
Well, it is exciting. I'm excited for the guys. It's I remember my first time running out on the field in front of our amazing fans, and you get those jelly legs for the first time, and they just got to push through it and get through this weekend, and hopefully we play well, and we're going to play hard. I can promise you that. Getting off to a good start is critical because most of the time, early in the season that projects into big years for guys. It's hard to get off to a crappy start and have a great year.
It's weird to think now with all of, and we'll go through the positions and we'll go through the rotation and the bullpen and let you give kind of a nice cursory glance for the fans and remind everybody who's coming back and who the new guys are. But one of those new guys, and I want to start with this right off the bat, you get to play the role of dad here, not just coach, but it's your son Tyler Martin. How I mean, that's got to be pretty amazing to see. I mean, that'll be hard not to be emotional to watch that when he comes out there.
It really, things happen fast. We were sitting there in the fall, and Tyler, with any opportunity that he got, he would come out and practice with us. And we were at that time, we were like, okay, we need some infield depth. This is, we didn't like where we were, and one thing led to another, and my coaches got comfortable enough, and they come up and say, all right, with all due respect. There's our guy. I mean, we were trying to get kids to graduate early in the 20 class, and we couldn't. We were striking out there, and, they kind of pushed me over the fence. Obviously, I was thinking the same thing watching him. I'm like, good gosh, this guy's really improved and put on weight, and he's smashing balls. And, he was always a guy that, when he swung, it was never a swing and miss guy. But, he just wasn't, the strength wasn't there. And now all of a sudden he's, put on some weight, and, he's going to lead off, and all the numbers point to him leading off. It's the guys know it. Just because he's my son, that has no effect, no bearing on anything.
Yeah, I imagine it's hard, right? Because you're aware. I mean, everybody, you were a coach's son, and you played. And so everybody always casts sort of a jaundiced eye. That's in any sport with any coach and son. That we get that. That happens in football and basketball and everywhere else. But so you want to be sure because there's a natural bias that we all have towards family, towards our kids. So it had to have been great to have the assistant coaches come up to you and say, even though you might have been thinking it just purely from a baseball standpoint, to have them come in and say, yeah, what are we doing here? He's the one. That had to ease your mind, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because I Chase Haney, our captain, came up to me probably a week before we decided, hey, we're going to try to do this, see if he can graduate early. But Chase Haney's like, why isn't he with us? And because he played that well, and and thank goodness he came in this spring and continued that. And,
did you think he would? Did you think? I mean, you've watched him his whole time playing baseball. Did you think? At what point did you begin to realize he could play at Florida State?
I got a call from Dick Steed over at Childs High School, probably in October. And he's like, hey, I know you don't get to see your son play much, which is true. I haven't seen him play hardly at all. I've seen him take ground balls with us and, take BP and stuff like that. But again, he was, 140 pounds and I thought he'd be a good junior college player, and he sold out to the weights. And it started with last year. He went with us to Georgia, to LSU, and then to the series, and he started getting into watching how these guys train. Well, he starts doing it, and then he comes to me and says, "What would you advise for me this summer, to go play or to stay here and work out with our strength and conditioning guys?" Jamie Burleson does an amazing job. And I said, I'd get strong. And I told Jamie, I said, "I bet you $100 you can't put 20 pounds on him." And he said, "You're on." And sure enough, he did. And again, the sky's the limit with him. He's a really good player.
Oh, that's cool. Well, congratulations on that. And obviously we'll be rooting because I want to see a guy atop the order do what a guy atop the order is supposed to do. So that's exciting right off the bat. All right. So, I talk to you in the offseason and we check in with each other. And a lot of times it's just to say hello, but oftentimes it is about baseball. And I got to say that when we were talking baseball, you primarily, the last time we talked, got really excited about what you had with this pitching staff and the amount of arms that you had, period, that you feel like were live arms and really that pitching, whether it be starting or relief pitching, was going to be the strength of the team. I'm assuming you still feel that way. Have you adjusted your thoughts at all in that regard?
No, I'm even more, liking the staff. The reason I do is because in the spring we start, doing different things, trying to get in their head. We'll turn the guys on our, the pitching staff and whoever's over on the bench, kind of, heckle and get on them, and we'll turn music up real loud when they're coming set. Just try to break concentration and really make it difficult for them. And all it's done is raise their level. They can do what they want to do. They can manipulate the baseball however they want. They're very confident, the whole chin up, chest out. They're impressive, and there's some bad dudes on that staff.
Well, everybody knows C.J. Van Eck, obviously, and they know Drohan and Grady, but let's go ahead and go through here. Talk to me about other guys that'll get shots to be in this rotation and to play a pivotal role, and then also we'll move on over into that bullpen. I want to talk to you about who's going to close and who's going to get first shot to do that. I know it's Hubbard, but I want you to talk about some of the other guys involved in that.
Yeah, Dylan Simmons will start out as our fourth guy. 6'4" right-hander, Jacksonville, that has been very, very impressive. The changeup was a better pitch than we realized. He's just an amazing story. He's the one that beat cancer, Jeff.
Well, that story, by the way, you can barely – first of all, Tim Linnefeld did a great job with that story. I want to give him credit for Seminoles.com, and I want you to be able to go ahead and talk about this. But that story is incredible, and he seems unflappable just reading the story while beating cancer, while fighting through treatment and working out and pitching and doing all the things he could to prepare. I know he had to call you and tell you when he had lymphoma, and you had to go through that and wait and all that. So to tell that story, it's an amazing story.
Yeah, it is. I got a call from his dad. His dad really couldn't even talk, and basically it went like this. He had a lump on his groin, just said, "I'll get it looked at later," kind of like all men do, didn't say anything. Well, it's fine. I probably got hit by a ball there or something, and whatever. So they went in, did a biopsy, came back lymphoma. It was shocking. It was 2 weeks before summer school. He was supposed to be here for summer school. Kept in touch, try to motivate, try to keep his spirits up periodically. But his dad always called and said, "Look, my son's a little different. Don't take his money. Don't be surprised if he shows up." Of course, we're like, golly, we're talking. Our doctors are like, no way. That just doesn't happen. He's going to lose strength. If he does show up, he's going to be a shell of himself. So we kind of went about it that way. Then I guess it was early December. He calls and says, "I'm coming." I said, "All right, awesome, let's do it." And so about mid-December, I asked how much he was weighing and how he feels and all that stuff, and he said, "I feel all right." And his dad had been calling me saying, "Look, he's got no hair, but he's working out every night." And I'm like, "Holy cow!" So anyway, mid-December, I get a call from a buddy of mine. He said, hey, I was over at, I don't even remember what high school they were at, and, Simmons was throwing a bullpen, and I said, well, how did it look? And he's like, dude, you're not going to believe this. It was exploding out of his hand. So I'm like, all right, well, shoot, maybe we can get some mileage out of him, get him 10, 15 innings in some sort of role. And, well, he shows up here, and, of course, our guys welcomed him and Tyler with open arms. And first pitch out of his hand was 94 miles an hour. And we said, holy cow.
Wow.
And I think his first swing in BP hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's got a chance to play some first base for us, but we got to take care of his arm and, kind of monitor that. So we're not going to throw him out there right away to, be firing baseballs all over the diamond. But he's going to be our fourth guy starting out. He can close. He can do a lot of things, and obviously nothing's going to scare him.
Meat, he's a monster. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, right?
He's taller than 6'3". He's probably 6'4", 6'5", about 230.
Wow. So, yeah, obviously a lot of potential there. And then anybody beyond that we should know about that the fans need to be reminded of, or somebody new?
Jack Anderson didn't get a lot of time last year, but has really made a jump. He's going to be a spot starter, use him a lot out of the bullpen. One that's done a complete 180 that I'm so excited about is Tyler Ahern. Jimmy took him, his fastball got hit a lot. The slider was a good pitch, but the fastball, number one, he kind of sprayed it around, but when he did find the zone with it, it seemed to get hit. He was right there in the middle of the pack with the spin rate. Long story, spin rate, the higher the better, the lower the better. You don't want to be in the middle of the pack. Those types of guys are easy to hit. Those fastballs are easy to hit, I should say. And so Jimmy, turned and changed his fastball grip. It's called a one-seamer. It's the new thing. So it dramatically lowered his spin rate. So now it's more of a sinker. And he's been, really dominant of late. So he's a good one. Out of the pen, you got Davis Hare, big right-hander. Those old school split finger. It's a wipeout pitch. Hard to land for a strike, but gets a lot of chase swings on it. He's a mid-90s guy as well. Short stint guy. Him and Hubbard are kind of the two-headed monster.
Okay.
We announced Bryce Hubbard as our closer, and he is. He's deserving of it. He's pitched the best. He's a hyper quick arm. Was up to 95, left-handed, athletic, holds runners. That prototypical short stint guy. But Davis, again, it'll be nice. We'll use Davis instead of Bryce. We've got some, it may be Tyler Ahern that we're using down there. If they go right in the ninth inning, we may use Chase Haney, but there's a lot of good options, that's for sure.
Well, and I'm wondering what type of pitcher, people are thinking about you as taking over as head coach, and I've told people, look, he's got his own ideas, and you'll see it in the way they play baseball, perhaps in the way they, certainly the way they coach it, but also the way they pitch. And I'm kind of curious, what type of pitcher are we looking at for you, under you as a head coach? And what's the philosophy when your staff, from your staff in terms of attacking hitters?
Yeah, the number one thing is we're going to win the psychological battle. Our guys, there's not going to be any slow tempo. Our guys are going to be ready to go as soon as that guy steps in the box. It's go time. And that's important, in my opinion, and we're going to implement that. Attacking the zone, of course, we're playing college baseball, and errors happen, and the more you strike out, the better off you are. But it's not going to be a situation where we're nibbling. Thank goodness we've got the arms that you can, here we go. Let's go. This 0-2 isn't going to be completely wasted. Yeah, we're going to throw a hard breaking ball down in the zone, try to get a swing. If not, we're coming back, with some serious gas, or maybe go another breaking ball. But the fact that we can do a lot of different things with right-handers and left-handers late in the ball game, and of course the starting pitching is established and solid. We just really like this staff.
Does anything change for people who maybe don't remember or don't know? And again, opening day is a chance to kind of remind everybody of everything. But I'm curious, does anything change offensively in terms of philosophy, given that you were the hitting coach and obviously you had the biggest influence on the way that Florida State played offensively? Yeah,
I do want to be a little more aggressive. I don't like fastballs taken, in the middle third of the plate. And we've done a lot better at that. Some guys that took some adjusting, especially those young pups, have got to realize that may be the only pitch you get. and these guys can throw wipeout sliders and change ups that are unhittable. So you got to be ready. The whole base running thing. Yeah, I do want to. The problem is I don't have the personnel to do it this year. We're Tyrell Brewer. Those guys can run. Tyler Martin can run. He didn't get his dad's wheels. So.
I was just going to ask you if you could go.
Thank goodness. And Cooper Swanson can run. And we'll do it, hit and miss with some guys as far as running, but we're not going to run ourselves, silly and the stupid outs. And we're going to steal that valuable base, which is third base. Second base, and the numbers point out stealing second doesn't make sense. So, we've got a lot of different things that, the analytics that we brought in, it's good stuff.
Well, I was just about to ask you because I think it's exciting. When you just allude to some of the things that you have so far in this interview, it would be evident to anybody listening that you're a big believer and a forward-thinking coach in terms of bringing in the analytics and having more information for which to make judgment, right?
Oh, yeah. They've got, we thank goodness we know a lot of people on the pro side. Mike Metcalf, again, long-time cross-checker with the Giants. So we were able to get a lot of information, whether to bring the infield in, whether to bunt, whether to not to bunt, when to steal third, intentional walks, when do you do that? There's stuff out there for everything.
Has there been anything, Mike, since when you played, and even in the early stages of your coaching career, that have gone and done a complete 180? Or is there any one thing that is pervasive in the game that you simply don't agree with?
Yeah, the bunt I got a second. I mean, man on first, nobody out. Your chances of scoring are a hell of a lot higher than man on second, one out. Back in the day, everybody did that.
Yeah.
Come to find out, it's probably the dumbest thing you could do. That intentional walks, the numbers point out, you don't ever intentionally walk a guy. Now that's coming from the pro side, so you got to be careful with that. The pro side, basically, that's saying the 3-hole guy is the same as the 4-hole guy. Well, there's going to be a drop off in college baseball. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful with some of this stuff. So I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, we're never going to intentionally walk a guy. If it really makes sense, then of course we will. But back in the day, they would intentionally walk guys all the time, and we've been burned on that in the past as well. So. It's fascinating stuff. It really is. Tyler Holt's the one that has to break down everything, and we got it laminated, and it goes in our back pocket, and play the infield in if you're up one on the road, and you don't do it up one at home. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is really interesting, and it goes by every inning, and how you can increase your chances of winning in the long haul.
Yeah, percentages. It's the best. I want to sit down one day and just go over that. Maybe it'll have to be a separate podcast. We might bore people, Mike, I'm telling you, I love that stuff. I want to learn about it because it's changing all the time.
Yeah.
And
they've got it now when breaking balls, in certain counts. It's really, you got to be careful, especially with college kids, because you can overload them. We keep most of the information within our staff and just say, look, it may seem strange, but just do it. Don't ask me why. I don't want to try to explain it to you. You're a college kid, so just shut up and do it.
It's not random. We've chosen this for a reason. And you're not going to be intentionally walking people because there are no Barry Bonds on steroids in college baseball, right? So
Well, I hope not, although there's rumors out there, that's for sure.
All right, let's go offensively. We've got to move to that side. Obviously, we've already talked about Tyler, your son, and we all know Albert, Cabell, Martin, Nelson, Desadas, Green, Smith. Talk to me about your offensive lineup. Go position by position.
And here's the thing, and we've been beating our head against the wall because we haven't been good offensively, and we keep going. Is it because we're so dang good on the mound that maybe we're not so bad? We have turned it up a notch in the last 10 days. But we'll go Nelly hitting second. He's a high on-base percentage guy. And, he's got some thump in there, but I think 2 holes a good spot for him. We'll hit Reese Albert third, play him in center field. Shoulders locked down, no more popping out.
Nice, that helps.
Yeah, poor guy. I know he's happy about it. Cabell's hitting fourth. Had a tremendous spring. Still probably top 5 in the country bat speed. The contact's improved. His pitch selection's improved. He's a dynamic defender out there in left. He'll be hitting fourth. Robbie Martin will play right field. Dramatically improved his defense. a lot lighter on his feet. I told him when he went out for summer ball, I said, son, you've got to get lighter on your feet. You've got to be an average to above average defender, and he did exactly that. A run producer. The fifth hole is the RBI. Everybody thinks 4 is the RBI. No, numbers show that the fifth hole guys, the ones that drive in the runs, and I think he drove in 60 as a freshman last year. So after that, I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to do it here in a second. Whether we're going to hit Smith, who's playing first base, hit him behind Robbie. I don't like going left there. Nander's improved. We may slide Cooper Swanson. Against a left-hander, Coop would definitely be in that 6 hole, but we could go Nander there. Down at the bottom, Jackson Green be playing second base. Kind of a roughneck, UNI's type of player, not real flashy, takes a hit by pitch, just kind of a dirtbag type of player, but can really, really turn a double play. When you watch him turn it, you're going to say, oh, wow, it's impressive.
Love it.
Yeah, he can really, really turn it. So him and Nander have worked real well together in the middle. So, but yeah, it's a good group. We're excited.
Last thing I want to go back to on this offensive side of things, you talked about Cabell, much improved with contact. When you have, and you obviously have worked with a ton of hitters and watch guys go through slumps and get inside their own head, and you've had guys come out of it, and you've had other guys maybe who didn't. And what's your approach? What do you deal with? A kid comes in, high expectations, there's a lot of ability there, starts to struggle, and then it kind of spirals. How do you get him out of that?
Yeah, I've always thought I could do it, and I think I did a better job, or maybe it was just because the kids were different back in those days. That's why we went into the mental, health side. That's why Jody Ambor, Dr. Jody Ambor, is on our team, is part of our staff, if you will. I'm going to do what I've always done to try to, calm guys down and tell different stories of, great hitters that we've had that went 1 for 20 in a certain stretch. And but I'm also going to send a lot of them to her. And she's the sports side. Dr. Keely Kaklamonis is on the clinical side. But they're involved, and guys are going to go and see them and try to clear those minds, and because they're coming in these days with an awful lot of stuff in their head, and I'm big into this stuff.
Is there anything that's changed in that realm? We talk about the modern pressures and the different kinds of pressures that kids feel today, as opposed to when you played or when we were in college or high school. It is different now. It's not that you guys didn't have to deal with things, but they were different things. And now, and social media is a big one, and everybody being able to contact everybody and know their business and say things to them that they shouldn't, et cetera. Right. So talk to me a little bit about that. I guess is that radically different? And this is the attempt to obviously counter some of that.
It is an attempt to counteract some of that. I don't want to be the guy and say, turn off social media and not allow it. I want them to have, be their own person. But it is radically different than what it used to be. I mean, Jeff, back when you and I were in college, we were worried about if we had, could scrape together enough dollars to have a few beers that night.
Right, right.
Now it's oh my gosh, somebody started a rumor about me, and this happened or that happened, and then it goes back to something that's really in the back of their head, something traumatic that's happened to them, and there's an awful lot that goes into it, and we've got to do better. We've got to take care of them from the mental side as well.
Hey, we could always just give plasma.
I never did that. Please tell me you didn't do that.
I did.
Oh God,
I did.
Oh goodness.
But the thing was, if you did that, you only needed to have 2 beers.
And then you got the feeling right. Huh?
You're done dealing, buddy. You gave all that blood earlier in the day.
or you could just go to the first and
it's true.
Nickel beers. That was always a good one.
That was probably not wise. That was a thing when we were in college, like nickel beer or bladder busts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. They weren't illegal. I think they are now, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, bladder busts ought to be when you really think about it.
Yeah, I don't think that's such a great idea, but
hey, can you top this off by telling the people about your staff? We already know Tyler Holt, and everybody knows Chip Baker and other people that have been here a long time, and you. But talk to me about the other guys.
Yeah, it's going a lot better than I thought. You're always worried. I've known Mike for a while. I knew all about him. Jimmy Bellinger, and I was worried about the cohesiveness of the guys because Mike didn't know Jimmy and Tyler didn't know either of them. So you're always worried about how they're going to gel and, work together and personalities. But it's been fantastic. It really has. It's been smooth. They work their tails off. They're all really, really good at what they do. I mean, again, Mike Metcalf is one of the most respected guys on the pro side. If you look at our 21, 22, and 23 classes, I think we're in the top 3 in all of them right now. And we're bringing them in from everywhere, from Puerto Rico to Canada to California to Utah. I mean, his net and his connections are second to none. And, Jimmy Bellinger is the same type of guy, really good at his craft. I mean, back in the day, see, people forget he was at Maryland when Maryland was kicking our tail and going to super regionals. I mean, they did it back-to-back years, and they were in the ACC at that time. So that's the connection there. People are like, how in the world did that happen? Well, see, they were in the ACC, and we're going up against his guys, and shoot, they beat us quite a few times. And he's got guys, in the big leagues, and I just remember him from those days that they were really, could pitch it, and they were competitive and worked quick, and they went to Kentucky, and we were able to steal him from there.
It's a cool staff to read up on and to learn about and to hear you talk about it. And it does sound like, obviously, this is gelling and going very, very well. I want to wish you the best. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and do this long form at the start of every year where we learn a little bit more and we take a glance at the team. But this year it's a special, special time because I get to talk to you now that you're the head coach and your son's playing on the team. So, I love you, bud. Be good, and good luck today. Have fun. Enjoy it. Take it all in.
Will do, Jeff. Thanks so much.
All right, brother. Be good.
Take care.
That's Mike Martin, Jr. He is the head coach at Florida State University, and that's pretty neat for me to say. I've been interviewing him for years. I've known him for years, and to be able to talk to him in that capacity. But I think the thing to stress here and to point out, because it's very real, is that he's his own man. There are things, obviously, that he's going to want to retain and all of the baseball learned over the years from his dad. But then there are really forward-thinking, modern approaches to the game that I think you heard somewhat revealed there in the interview, which is this reliance and the ability to look at advanced metrics, analytics, anything that you can use to help better inform a decision in the game of baseball is a good thing. And I think it's fascinating to watch the game evolve, and now you're going to see that evolution of Florida State baseball because more of those elements are going to be in play. The baseball interview of the week is brought to you by AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping, Tree Service, Tree Removal, Tree Pruning, and Landscaping. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas for over 35 years. Head to AAATreeExperts.net today for your free quote. Well, we'll wrap it up here momentarily, come back, react to it, and then it's time to go off and watch some Florida State baseball.
During our President's Day sales event, we're celebrating our 20th year in business. Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is now offering a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all of the new car inventory. The Ram 1500 is back-to-back 2019 and 2020 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and now comes with an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. And with over 100 Ram 1500s in stock, they are ready for immediate delivery. You can lease it for just $249 a month with just $19.99 down. The all-new 2020 Jeep Gladiator is the hottest Jeep in the market right now, and you can lease it for just $289 a month with just $19.99 down. And all of our Jeeps come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. See dealer for details on powertrain warranty. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives. Sport package leases are 36 months with $19.88 down and 10,000 miles with approved credit.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
With a Bojangles 3-piece Chicken Supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles. It's bow time.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Jen London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. It's a free service, and we've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad. There's a place for answers, a place for mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-391-1755. That's 1-800-391-1755.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, no. This car ride's taking forever. I hate blindfolds. No more of these. Where are we going?
Bumpus Local 349.
Yay! I love Bumpus Local 349. It's a local business.
I wish they had piñatas.
Me too. But I think I'm going to order the Dolphin Reuben instead.
You know, it's not really dolphin.
Yes, it must be mahi, right?
Delicious.
Yes.
Eat local, be local, and drink local at Bumpus Local 349.
Help me with my blindfold.
The Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, who's celebrating their 95th year in business this year, would like to recognize their newest members.
Hi, I'm Corey Melton, the Vice President of Membership, and I'm proud on behalf of the Chamber to welcome our newest members from December and January. American Cancer Society, Bath Fitter, Bob Fish Homes, Body Mechanics, Physiotherapy and Fitness, David Cannon, Realtor with Eden & Company, Express Employment Professionals, iDope, Florida Floors, Growler Country, Homes and Land of Tallahassee, Jet Medical Center, Tallahassee, Not Responsible, Lullwater at Blairstone, Move, Office Depot, Osaka Japanese Steakhouse, Puff for Less, Stacy Lee Portraits, Strayer University, Telegen, Terminix of Tallahassee, The Refinery Bar Fitness Studios, Trail and Ski, and the Waffle House.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
We're at the ballpark with you guys, standing out there listening to the great Jeff Cameron show as tailgate fodder. Fun talking to Mike Martin Jr. I think that you're going to see a different brand of baseball. I mean, listen, his dad was only the most successful coach in college baseball history, save for the national titles. I can hear everybody yelling now, but you know, I get it. But so it's hard to do much better would be my point. But I do think it's going to be a different brand of baseball. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be different. I think a lot of the old timers will look at some of the decisions that Mike Martin Jr. makes in game. And he alluded to some of them a moment ago in that interview about not moving runners over as much, bunting people over, you know, which punch and Judy baseball like that drives me nuts anyhow, so I'm so glad to hear it. Stealing third is interesting, talking about to do that, when to do that, and how important it is to do that. Okay. You know, because the conventional wisdom has always been if you're on second base, you're in scoring position for a single anyhow. So to listen to him talk about that. And then, you know, at the end there, him talking about the staff, I wanted him to illuminate for people those two guys in particular. We know about Tyler Holt, and certainly we know Director of Baseball Operations, the great Chip Baker. We know those guys, right? But people don't know Mike Metcalf, who's the recruiting coordinator and assistant coach, and they don't know Jimmy Bellinger necessarily. Unless you're a hardcore baseball guy, you really don't know. He's the new pitching coach. To listen to why he chose those guys, how well they've been able to get on since arriving, the different influences they've had in the way that they're recruiting, the way that they're coaching the position. I mean, I know for one thing, Coach Bellinger has sped everybody up in terms of his pitchers. He thought that they were too laborious, that they were there was too much slowing down, too much. He wanted to speed up their arms, and he knew it would increase MPH, and there was a way to do it mechanically. I'm not a pitcher. I never coached pitching. I never pitched myself, so I don't know what that is. But it's interesting to hear him talk about that, and I find all of it fascinating. He has, you know, I began that interview by talking about how excited I knew he was about the pitching staff, about some of the fresh new arms that they've got coming into the bullpen. About the Simmons kid. That story is absolutely an amazing story. And once again, I want to reiterate, good job, Tim Linnefelt, Seminoles.com. Go read that story if you haven't read it yet. A remarkable story. But that kid is huge. He comes in, and apparently he can really hit, too. So this is all exciting stuff. I think Florida State's going to be a good baseball team. I know he's really pumped about what they've got coming in addition, over the next few years. He feels like this might be, to some extent, their weaker or weakest offensive unit that he's had in a while. But I would take that with a grain of salt because he's an offensive guy. He's a guy that coached hitting at Florida State, still does. And he tends to be self-deprecating. He tends to be hard on his guys and hard on himself. So he's inclined most of the time to think they're not good enough, ever. He'll always say that to me. He has for years. And there have been years he said that to me where he didn't think they were going to hit a lot of home runs, and then they led the ACC in home runs. Or he didn't think they'd be able to put up a big number as often as he'd like offensively, and that they were going to really have to rely on lockdown pitching, and then they would lead the league in runs. You know, so he's that way.
Just sounds to me like there might be a new age approach with old school Martin values here at Florida State.
For an iconic brand,
It's an iconic brand. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, I didn't mention it, and because I don't know, I just geek out on these things. Have you seen the new matted helmets with the 3D FS? It's gorgeous.
Looks good. Yeah.
They look incredible. They look like our uniforms in football should look.
Yes, I'd change the garnet a little bit, but that's just me.
Oh, I like the garnet. I like it.
It's got a little purple to it, but I like the style of it. Softball has that, right, too?
Yeah.
I think they were the first ones to actually have that.
They're nice. They're sweet. Those batting helmets are gorgeous. I want one. Mike, if you're listening.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh, I'm lobbying for one. I want a couple. My boys would like to don the FS with great pride.
They could wear that in their Legion games in the future.
It would be fantastic. We could do it. I got to believe that has to be the most enriching, rewarding set of circumstances to happen in an offseason in his career. He gets the job, and there was some real question as to whether or not he would or not. He gets the job. And then his son gains a ton of weight, gets a lot stronger, and gets to be where he can not just be on the team, sitting on the bench somewhere, watching Florida State baseball. This happens. I mean, coaches and people who are highly influential in their career, in their coaching career, are able to bring in their kids a lot of times as walk-ons or whatever it might be, and they might get in a game here or there, but they're not really going to be integral parts.
You'll see familiar names on the sidelines of football
all the
teams
time.
all the time.
Of course you do. But to have him come in and end up being an answer to a problem, and to have assistant coaches come over and say, look, I know it's kind of hard on you because you probably are thinking,
Great. My first game taken over from my dad, and my son's leading off. Yeah, the optics of that are wonderful.
You know, and that I thought about it while we were talking about it. I thought about it in the build up to it, and I read the story, and I've heard him talk about him before, and, I've seen his kids grow up. So one of the things that I thought was, like, when you get in that position, how difficult is it? Because you might think, if you analyze a player and you tell yourself, all right, look, he happens to be my son, but what is he as a baseball player? What would he provide that we would need? Is there anything that he has that I would be looking for in another player if I were recruiting that makes him a viable option for me? The problem is you probably say that, and then you would quickly be telling yourself, because, he is a forward-thinking guy, like, there's no way to get out from under the fact that you are biased. He's your son. There's no way you're not going to be. When I watch my son play, I'm biased towards my son. I mean, I can tell myself, or I can tell their mom, he didn't play well, or he did play well today. But if you're asking me to assess big picture stuff, I'm probably always going to side with my son.
Well, in listening to the way he described to the beat yesterday, that relationship, he's got governors for the coaching staff to tell him when he's either being too lenient or too hard. Because you have to treat him the same. You can't be harder on him because he's a coach's son.
Well, and he would be inclined to.
Yes, he would. That's his personality.
Yeah,
no doubt.
His personality. I think he would. And he's tough. He's a tough coach. He's better have some good cops on that staff. I think Tyler Holt probably is. But you got to have some good cops, because Mike's not going to be a good cop. He's a tough SOB. He can be really difficult just as a person. And I love him. But I'm just saying, like, he is driven and focused and intense, and that's a personality type.
Well, and listen to the answers to the questions about analytics and tell me he's not prepared for the gig.
Right. Yeah. No, those are cool answers and fun.
The stupidest thing you could do is bunt somebody to second, quote unquote. It sounded like his opening press conference when he was talking about inner half fastballs, the whole FSU baseball loving world went, woo, whether you were on one side of it or the other. Before he was hired, I think both sides went, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Message received.
Yeah, kind of difficult, too, because anything you say is perceived certainly as a swipe at your dad, and you don't necessarily mean that. It's just you have a different philosophy. And
not to speak for him, but I think Buddy does, because they had wars, as everybody talked about. That became more out in the open towards the end of 11's time, that they would have screaming matches. And
yeah.
People had to separate them, not from fisticuffs, but just get them in a different room from each other.
It's funny, you've witnessed my dad and I yell at each other.
Yes.
And
different times a day, different reasons.
But not even, a lot of times it's not just that we might have had a couple beverages and we're having a disagreement about whatever.
When we should, leave the Oklahoma State.
Well, that was funny. That was just
okay, you had your next one. Ready to go? I just ordered another one. Damn it, Jeff! It's time to go home!
Yeah, he was incensed there. But, we would have knockdown, drag-out arguments about everything from politics to
the Knowles.
To football to Florida State, yeah.
Friday nights before home games, you might see one a year. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to watch guys go at it. Yeah.
Well, and we get, but then the funny thing is, like you said, that's just, you have to be able to have those conversations, and then, it's probably best when somebody else is like, all right, guys, let's...
My dad is the king of trying to get the barb in and then walking out of the room as he does it.
As you get older, you won't allow for that. You're like, no, you're not doing that. You're not doing that today. That's not happening. I'm going to retort.
No, I follow him to the kitchen when he goes to get a snack. I'm like, well, that's interesting you say that.
He's thinking he's got it. Yeah. That's, as you become your own man, as you would any other man, you're not going to allow them to just say something in passing that's a shot. You're like, oh, no.
Or I'll just say, that's absurd. Got any cocktail peanuts in the pantry? That's absurd.
That's fun. It's fun. I think it would be less fun if you're an assistant coach and you don't want to bunt a guy over.
You have to bunt him to second.
No, you
don't.
It's really not a good idea.
You're crazy, Dad.
Bill Clinton sits down. Yeah, but he's always sounded like Bill Clinton. Come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm. Not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Classes full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Program number 21038 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 4/30/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Not all law firms are equal. So here's why Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey was recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm. First, we only take real cases. If your car was barely bumped and you think you're going to get rich, we're not the firm for you. We limit our practice to serious cases with legitimate claims. Second, we only take cases involving real injuries. If you know you aren't hurt but think you can fool your way into a quick settlement, we're not the firm for you. We encourage our clients to heal up and get better, not sit on the couch and expect a windfall. Third, we don't want clients who are just in it for the money. If the very first thing you think of after getting hurt is calling pound something or other on your cell phone instead of calling 911, we're not the firm for you. Your health should always come first. And finally, we won't blow smoke about a big money outcome just to get your case. Other firms overpromise and underdeliver. Our only promise is that we'll work harder than anyone to get you the best result. Remember, the law firm you have representing you makes all the difference, so don't settle for less. Call Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey and let us put our reputation to work for you.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Yes, yes, yes. That is right, good sir. Baseball is upon us.
Hey, man, what are you having?
An El Gordo and a Gordo smash. Going all in on the Gordos in honor of baseball, my good friend.
Get me an El Gordo and a Gordo smash. Those are the reasons you always come back.
You were all in on that singing.
And I dance, too.
No. Not necessary.
Watch. All right.
Off the bar, Eddie!
No, watch.
And the tapping?
Oh, up.
Sweet Jesus, Eddie, are you all right?
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Gordos, where Eddie will dance on the bar. In baseball. Yay, baseball. And Gordos.
Looking for a fun activity that supports a good cause? Look no further than the Tallahassee Glow Run. The first annual Tallahassee Glow Run takes place Saturday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. at FSU's main campus fields. Sign up for a glowing good time with all proceeds benefiting Catholic Charities of Northwest Florida, a group that supports all people in need from all faith denominations. Run, walk, or dance the 5K or 1K course with family, friends, and co-workers. To sign up, visit active.com and search for Glow Run. This event is proudly presented by Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Charlie Pellett. Brought to you by Grainger, America's trusted source for industrial and safety supplies. Visit Grainger.com. Under Armour is warning of soft 2020 results, and coronavirus is getting part of the blame. The sports apparel company is warning that the coronavirus outbreak in China will mean $50 to $60 million in lost sales in the final quarter of 2020. Both Nike and Adidas have said that the virus will hurt business in China. Nike had to close about half of its company-owned stores, and stores that remained open were operating with reduced hours. And Callaway Golf is another another business citing the coronavirus for missed results. Its first quarter and full year 2020 forecast trailed Wall Street estimates. And CBS will make William Hill its exclusive online sports betting and data provider. William Hill is based in London. It goes back to 1934. That's the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report. I'm Charlie Pellett.
My portfolio's diversified, my 401k's maxed, but my savings account just sat there till I switched it to Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I'm earning way more now, and just between you and me, my savings are right on track. Feels like I got upgraded for free.
You can money. With an online savings account from Marcus by Goldman Sachs, you could earn much more interest than with the largest banks. Sign up at Marcus.com.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of January 21st, 2020 may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Attention everyone. With Dell's President's Day sale, get monumental savings on Dell Business PCs with Intel Core processors and business tech. Deals are live now with doorbusters up to 60% off on President's Day the 17th. Our small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business at President's Day prices by calling 877-BUY-DELL. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Getting straight to the music. Grand opening, grand closing for this segment. We say goodbye and hope you enjoy Florida State baseball. But before we do, we say a hearty thank you to our friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for sponsoring the day, opening day. Florida State baseball, good times.
Good times, good weather. Gave people a taste of our New Orleans-style blues a little early. You're welcome for that. You get a little darkness. You get the
But you got to
blues.
end with the darkness. That's the right thing to do. That's fine.
Even though baseball season is the light, you know.
I was excited the other day. I was thinking about the return of Probables, and we've talked about it before, but we basically are really on the cusp of it all.
That's right. We need to make sure that our friends at Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry'sCigarShop.com, 2810 Sharer Road, 2910 Carrier Forest Parkway are back on for another year of Probables. I don't know why they wouldn't be.
They will be. They can't wait, and I can't wait.
I will list their status as probable.
Well done. I thought you were going to be cute and say likely.
I was never that cute.
Good work out of you. Our thanks to Mike Martin Jr. for taking the time to join us as the new head coach at Florida State, embarking on his inaugural season here as the head man, and we wish him luck. We wish the Noles luck, and thanks to all of you for listening. Good job, Matthew, who, by the way, is going to be gone for a week.
Yeah, that time is coming soon. Are we allowed to divulge why?
We're
allowed to divulge why. He just gave a proud thumbs up.
He's going to be a proud papa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Greatest day of your life, buddy. It's
Here's
awesome.
to a healthy whatever time it is. If we're going way overtime here, then fine.
Yeah.
We just don't know the day yet. There's still kind of a baby pool out there.
Could be Monday.
Could be
Sunday.
Could be 20 minutes from now.
Could happen right at this very second.
He might get
you better race.
We've been calling it the bat signal. He might get the bat signal any second now. Who knows?
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday. Peace.